Okay. I'm streaming over there. We're good. Not 2 minutes, Liam. Another time. Go to somebody else. I'm sure there's other creators that you like to talk to. Go find Dean or Parker or one of those people. Liberals get laid. Okay. Thank you so much, Sammy. I appreciate you. We're already at 50% of our gift goal. How about that? It's pretty good, huh? People you hate get laid, and that's okay. I don't even know what that means. I really don't even know what that means, man. All right, where is the opposition? If you did vote for Trump, if you're looking to debate, hit the request button, please. It's at the bottom of the screen. It looks like that pink and blue person that you see there on screen. My max bench press? This was a couple years ago, but 352. 352. This was in competition too, so this isn't like a gym bench press where you're bouncing that shit off your chest or you're going down halfway. This was all the way down to the chest, pause for a solid second, back up bench press. 352. That was done at like 172 pounds. I weighed in at that competition. I weigh like 20 pounds more, so while I don't currently barbell bench anymore, not for any particular reason, I just don't really care to. I'm sure I can probably beat a 352 bench considering I weigh 20 pounds more, but maybe one of these days I'll compete again. Maybe. We'll see. Hey, tell me. It's a lot training for a powerlifting competition, though. It really is. It's just, the workouts are really long. I have to rest a shitload in between the sets because I'm going so heavy. I can't just go back into the set a minute later. I have to wait like 3 to 5 minutes. So the workouts end up being like an hour and a half, and I'm like lifting 4 days a week. So we're talking 6 hours a week of lifting, which I could do. I just don't really want to right now. And by the end of training for the powerlifting competitions, I really did not enjoy training anymore. I really did not. So I prefer at this point to enjoy working out and not just do it because I have to. What's my opinion on the e-files? I think it's the opinion that every single human being should have, that we should know who's in there and that those people should be investigated. No matter who it is, no matter what their political affiliation is, no matter who they're friends with, no matter what their views are, that they should be investigated. I think that's the views that any rational person should have. 600 milligrams of caffeine is quite a bit. I'm drinking 200 milligrams right now. I'm usually good with about 200 milligrams of caffeine. That's usually like my happy medium. Well, it hasn't quite been investigated. I mean, hey, kitten, how are you? Steph, what's up? Sam, Danielle. I didn't make the backgrounds. I didn't make the background. Damn it, David. I didn't make the background. I'm going to have to put another text below that one. David, you're making me look really bad. I can deal with one misspelled word and properly spell it below it, but David, you got to spell check before you make a background. Did you change it in the updated one? I know I haven't even put up, but if you didn't change it in an updated one, then it's still misspelled there as well. They're uniformly incels. Brokey. Okay, George. All right, David. Let me know once you get it fixed. I'm gonna have to change it. I can't have two misspelled words. I can deal with one, but not two. Honestly, David, we probably don't even need that bottom part. I mean, you could, but I don't really think it's needed. Do I actually live in my mom's basement? Well, considering I do live in Florida, in the Tampa area, I am not aware of any basements being in the Tampa area. So the answer would be no. That whole thing is satirical, by the way. Clearly. Like, I think it's very obviously satirical. David. You're good. But yes, the whole intro is like painfully obviously satirical. Obviously. I don't know how many times I can say the word obviously, but I'll say it again. Obviously. I think you can extend it to the vote blue no matter who people. Yeah, I mean to some degree I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. Hold on, let me move the background. It depends, I suppose. I don't think somebody should just vote blue no matter who just for the sake of it. What's up, RJ? Yeah, I don't think people should vote blue no matter who just for the sake of it, just because they're told to do so. And it depends on your views, right? If you don't have views that match up with whoever the Democrat candidate is, then don't vote for that person, right? I think the person that you vote for should align with your views somewhat, right? At least in relation to the other candidate. I think that would be fair to say. But there are a lot of people that don't vote for someone if there is one issue that they feel that they don't align on or whatever, and they're welcome to do that. You're welcome to vote or not vote. But I think it depends on who you're running against, who they are running against. Where's all the MAGA supporters at? Normally you guys are all here in the morning. I know it's a little later in the morning. Maybe I should have started this a couple hours ago, but you guys are generally here in the morning. But it's funny, at Trump's Super Bowl party, it was playing. You guys saw that video? Literally at his Super Bowl party, the halftime show with Bad Bunny was playing. It's all performative. Everything that they do is performative. They don't believe anything they say, and they don't really say anything that they really believe. It seems. Yeah, like you guys are gonna see the video circulating at his Super Bowl party. You see them there, and you see you see it playing. Now, whether they had the volume up or not, I don't know, but that's besides the point. Clearly, they didn't care that much about it if they decided to play it there. Alejandro, you don't have a profile picture, so I can only assume you're a bot. I assume all of you are bots until proven otherwise. Until you actually come up and speak like a human being. Hey, how you doing?
What's up?
Not much, man. How old are you?
29.
All right. What's up? Did you vote for Trump?
Yep.
Okay. How do you think he's doing so far?
Well, for one, I don't think any president is ever going to do it perfect, exactly what I wanted, but I think for the most part, I pretty much like what he said and done. I mean, I don't agree with everything he says, but for the most part.
So what's something specific that you feel like he's doing well at?
You said one more time?
What's something specific that you feel like he's doing well at?
Like facilitating some of the social changes. I think a lot of people voted based on like social or cultural issues. For example, like the government not recognizing like trans women as like actual women.
How does that change your life or America's life at
Well,
all?
Well, again, from the cultural standpoint and also from like a practical standpoint. So, for one, I think that is, the case that we ought to be professional. So that isn't something that we have a consensus on as like, oh, it's scientifically accurate or like, part of everyone's reality. And that would be the same thing as me making a political claim, which also in the government is not permissible. So, like, for example, if I'm in the military, I can't just like go around in my uniform talking about who I voted for and why
Okay,
and
but you gotta stay
why
on
the other
topic.
person's bad.
You're going all around the place. You're going everywhere.
No, no,
Just
no. I'm
stay
saying
on
it's
topic. Just I know, but
yeah, yeah,
stay with the claim that you made. That you
yeah.
feel that them making the claim that trans women aren't women somehow benefits Americans. What is that?
No.
How does that
So
change
just to
anything?
understand my claim. What I'm saying is, in the same sense that that would be more like a politically divisive statement to make about trans people, it'd be the same as talking about who I voted for in my uniform,
Oh
which is
no,
something
not
that the
really. You
government
know,
says
well, back in the 1800s, saying
it
black
would
people
be.
shouldn't be slaves would be a politically divisive statement. Doesn't mean it wasn't the right
Right.
thing to do.
Yeah. As a member of the government, you should be pretty much like just neutral. You shouldn't have any
But
political opinion to
Trump's
express.
not being neutral.
Yeah, he's the president, though. I'm saying, like, for example, a person who's making like a political statement as like Department of Defense head or like a soldier in the military. I think that's a different
Yeah,
matter.
who made a political claim that was the head of the DoD?
I'm not saying that person specifically did. I'm just saying in general, it
So,
was permissible under Biden to like.
but it sounds
Uh,
like you voted for the person. It sounds like you voted
uh,
for the person that's making political claims.
well, he's a politician.
Well, then you shouldn't have an issue with Biden's administration doing it. You seem to be
That's
contradicting yourself
that's not
every other
that's
statement.
not really a contradiction because it's not really my point. My point is I'm
Well, then what the
saying
fuck is
in
your point? Because I don't think anybody knows what your point is.
My point is that when you're a government official, like for example, like a worker in the government on
Okay,
like in the office or whatever, I
okay.
think that affects the culture of the office, and it also means that you're setting a precedence for everybody else in the country to socially accept something that at least half of us don't believe in. I think mostly
So who in the Biden
it's a
administration made a
minority.
political claim?
I mean, other than Biden himself, I'm saying what he's doing is making it like legal and okay. Like, for example, he's saying that the government has to recognize you as what your identity states you
What
are.
what executive order was put through, or what legislation was put through in regards to trans people by the Biden administration or during the Biden administration?
My claim is more like Trump put an order through to say, no, we're not going to do that anymore. Like, it's not
No,
permissible.
no, we're not going
I
to do
think that's
what?
a good thing. We're not going to recognize someone as being a woman simply because they say I identify that way because
What
it's
does
not
that
congruent with
effectively
reality.
change, though? That doesn't change anything with restrooms or sports or gender affirming care. He just said
Well,
something
like
to
I
the
said,
ether. He just spoke out to the air. That's it. That doesn't do anything. That
well,
makes
he actually made
that
it,
makes no less
he
change
made
than
it
me just saying
impossible.
I can say trans women are women. I did the same thing that he just did.
Well, I'm saying he made it pretty much. Uh, so he put an order through saying that we're not going to recognize that. So again, like I said originally, we voted. A lot of us voted based on like cultural and social issues. I mean, people like to call it the culture war, right? Fair enough, but that's kind of what a lot of people voted on. So
But who's
that's.
the one politicizing transgender people? Not Democrats.
I think the
You
left does it too.
you can't name me a single piece of legislation
Uh,
Democrats have put through
it's not always
that have anything to
legislation.
do with
It's
trans
about
people.
rhetoric. It's about
Well,
rhetoric
yeah,
too.
right. It's important to speak up on the behalf of people, but if there's no
I,
legislation being put through, and
I think
Republicans
it's
are the one who put forward the rhetoric and legislation first to bring people in like you who otherwise wouldn't vote because they realize you wouldn't give a shit about voting. But if they can make you care about
What are you
trans
talking
people
about?
and they
How do you know that?
no, you wouldn't have vote right because like
How do you know that?
right because they make you afraid of trans people. They make you think
No,
they're
I'm
going
not
to hurt
afraid
your
of trans
child.
people.
Well, you guys are. That's what you guys vote.
I'm not afraid of
They
trans people.
so you guys think trans people are going to hurt your kid. They think they're going to put
I
all
think
this.
that
I'm
I
in the
don't
middle of
want
talking.
them to be indoctrinated.
They think they're going to put all this exactly. They think they're going to indoctrinate people in the classrooms and society and all those things. And I'm
Can I
sorry,
tell you
trans people
how?
just aren't doing that. So Republicans are the ones who politicize it, right? Again, to make people like you vote because none of you
The
gave a shit
left,
about voting
what do you
beforehand,
mean?
right?
The left politicizes it and the
There,
rhetoric talking about
there wasn't anything that was
using
politicized by the left
pride as
whatsoever.
yeah,
There
yeah,
wasn't anything
absolutely.
politicized by the left whatsoever.
Yeah,
Republicans, the ones who
absolutely.
hold on,
That's a
Republicans
lie.
were You're not able to give me a single piece of legislation Democrats have put through
Well, again, it's
the
not always about
legislature. So
legislation;
you
it's
can't name me
rhetoric. But
shit. So you're making
is
crap
is
up.
there
I can name you
is there
numerous pieces. I
is there
can name you.
legislation that
Yes,
says
yes. There's numerous pieces of legislation on the right that have
you don't
politicized
even know what I'm
trans
at?
people.
You don't even know what I'm asking you.
You can't name me a single thing on the left that have politicized them. You can point at me rhetoric all
Again,
you want, but the rhetoric
you're
didn't
ignoring what
come
I
out
said
of
though.
nowhere. The rhetoric did not come out of nowhere. They didn't
What
just
do you
all
think
of a
the
sudden.
rhetoric is?
They didn't. Rhetoric is words. They didn't just say
Yeah,
out
but
of
I'm saying,
nowhere.
what do you
Shut
think
up
the
and let me
rhetoric
speak.
is?
Shut up and let me speak. They didn't just out of
The
nowhere
opposite.
start. They didn't just out of nowhere start speaking about trans people in restrooms and sports and classrooms. That wouldn't make sense because those things were always allowed in the first place. Why would they speak up about it? It was Republicans on the right around 2015, 2016 where it started happening. It is very, very evident that that's the case. Now,
Well,
you
when
got
something happens and it's not been an issue before, there's not going to be legislation on it. The
exactly.
thing
It's
is,
never been an issue.
once something becomes an issue, then it's necessary to make
Okay.
legislation.
What's an issue about
And
trans
so,
women using a women's restroom? What's the issue?
well, a lot of women don't feel comfortable. First of all,
Okay, I don't feel comfortable with you in a restroom next to me. Should you leave?
I think that there's a certain level where it's permissible to be uncomfortable. I think that's common
Perfect. Glad
sense.
we agree. So it's okay
Mhm.
then.
No, I think that when we're looking at your claim of two men who are designated to be in the men's restroom using the
Hmm.
bathroom, where there's stalls and separators, I think that you being uncomfortable, I think is a bit on your end is a bit irrational. But
Right, but
also, you
you
also
can't
have
give me
to.
evidence that the majority of women are uncomfortable, and there's no laws that say
Well, how do
otherwise.
you
So there's
quantify that other
well, the
than
burden of
using
proof is
women's
on you.
anecdotal experience?
Yeah, the burden of proof is on you to prove that most women are
Yeah, I
uncomfortable.
mean, we can look up tons and tons of videos and polls and all types of things
So
where
pull them
people
up.
are talking about it
So
and
pull them up.
speaking up against it.
So pull them up.
Uh, So pull them up. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, sure. What, you want me to send
pull
you a
to
link or
polls. I want
something?
pull to polls that show the majority of women care about trans women being in a restroom.
Well, the poll might not say the majority, but I'm saying a
Okay.
lot of people are going to say it. So, I mean, I can look up some stuff
Well,
for
so
sure.
we
Give me
went
one
from the
second.
majority to a lot, but who cares
Well,
if it's a lot? But
I'm asking you how do you quantify it other than you adding it up yourself? Because
you
who's
would
going to
have to
go out
provide.
there?
You got to provide
But I'm
them that
saying, who's going to
evidence,
go out
man.
there and do that though? Because that's
There's
not even
polls.
something politically that's going to be permissible. That's going to be something
There
you
are
probably.
polls. There are polls for many things. So you can
There are
provide a
many
poll.
polls, yeah, for
So
sure.
provide the polls that the majority of women, cis women, care about trans women being in restrooms.
Well, just to clarify what I'm going to bring you is a list of data or a poll or some sort of evidence that's saying that a lot of women don't. And so for when I say majority, like 51% or higher,
Hmm.
we would have to add that up ourselves because it's
No,
something
the
that
poll
people are
would
going to
have it.
bury their heads in the sand about. People don't want to address it because it's politically divisive.
So get the
I can look
evidence.
up something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, give me one second.
Guys, in the meantime, keep tapping and sharing where you're looking for opposition. If you disagree with the context of the background, come on up, hit the request button. We'll get to a new one at 30K likes, or of course 2 galaxies or 20 on the Palinks. We have the gift goal as well. I am currently streaming on the tube. If you guys want to sub to me over there, it's Dougielifts, and we're just waiting on him to get evidence of said poll. But I personally haven't seen any polls that show that the majority of cis women have an issue with it at all. And again, considering trans women, trans men have always been using the restrooms that they feel most comfortable in our entire lives and nobody gave a shit, I think it's fair to say that the ones who politicize it caused you guys to care about it when it otherwise was not affecting you. If you have to be told to care about something, then you don't actually care about it. If that thing has been occurring your entire life, and you never cared about it, and you have been told to care about it, then maybe you don't actually care. Anyways, keep tapping and sharing. Make sure you guys all send in your heart me if you can. Let me shift the background. It always gets shifted when the guest comes over for some reason. All right, we don't have him in a request box. So remember, at 30K, we'll get to a new one, okay? But no, I mean, what I said, I believe very much to be true. I think many Republicans, or at least current Republicans, wouldn't be voting if it weren't for this issue being politicized. I think it's not a coincidence that we saw an increase of Republican voters the moment that this became a political issue. I mean, we saw a pretty big increase. We never really saw a huge amount of Republicans, whether it be registered Republicans or Republicans that have voted prior to this issue. I can help speed it up for you, man. These polls aren't there. But in the meantime, Tammy, thank you for the 10 on the blue out with the V. It says, it's so wild to me how much they love to speak for women in regards to bathroom use, but voted for a rapist and a child predator. And let me add in a guy that went into a women's changing room. Voted for a party that thinks it's okay to abuse kids. Very good point, Tammy. W. Tammy in the comments. Thank you so much. It seems very, very hypocritical. Seems like on one hand it's okay, you can excuse it because he puts forward other views that you seem to like. So it's okay that he was found civilly liable for rape. It's okay that he went into women's changing rooms against their consent. That's okay, right? That's okay to violate women there. But when it's happening with trans people, even though we don't see that happening, then that's a problem. I'm just saying, if you're going to fight for women's rights, maybe just be more consistent about it. I don't know if he's coming back. I think he's trying to run. I'm giving him an ample amount of time. All right, man. I can only give you so much longer. Okay. At least come back to let me know that you're still looking for it and that you're not running. Okay. You there?
Hello.
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah. So one of I'm bringing up more than one. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Him post one in chat.
I got the sheet from her.
You got some background noise. If you can help minimize that. So you're giving me a YouTube video?
Last sheet shows that it says,
Yeah, so the YouTube video is like a Jubilee one. It's just people expressing certain opinions on both sides.
Well, that's
However,
not a
there's a lot of there's a fact check and also sources in the video. So that's why it was a convenient resource.
Okay.
Hold on.
What
it's in the video.
Okay, but I can't just pull. I can't watch an entire video to just pull up a source. That was on you to pull up the primary source.
You're asking me to do something that requires some research. So I mean, you're gonna have to do your part.
You should have done the research beforehand if you're gonna make a bold claim. You can't come up here and provide me a fucking YouTube video. Well, it is.
It's just that you're.
It is
you want
because
to
these polls
provide
don't
a level
exist.
of proof that's going to take a lot of work to figure out.
But you should have been privy to this information beforehand. Otherwise, you shouldn't make a claim like that.
Yeah, but you don't take any information. Like I think that you guys don't take the type of information that we're trying to present to you. So it's kind of like one of those things we got to be very specific.
Well, I take in information that's objective. So if you provide some sort of data or polls, I would take it. Yeah.
And I'll be right back. Hold on.
Okay. Just I don't need a video of somebody talking about a claim and where the A source is then provided. I have to go through like 3 hoops just to be able to get that. Just give me the source. That's it. All right, let's bring Obi up. I haven't seen Obi in a while. What's up, man?
Hey, dude. Good to see your face.
Yeah, you too. Long time no talk.
Yeah. Just a couple quick comments. I think it's okay that human beings confuse feelings and opinions for facts, because that's part of being human, right? That's okay. Mm-hmm. But it's hypocritical when MAGA wants to all of a sudden claim facts based on data or math and science while being the party that hates math and science. You can't have it both ways, right? Yeah. You can't claim to be an advocate for something while the entire time your opinion is antithetical to that movement, right? Mm-hmm. And to your point, the only reason why they care at this particular point in time, that was really cool.
Yeah, that was a cool gift.
Is because it was politicized. right?
100%. That's what I
And
was
also,
telling you.
yes,
Yeah, I don't know how long you've been in
yeah,
live, but he tried making the claim that Democrats were or people on the left, Democrats, whatever, were the ones who were politicizing it. But there was no issues to begin with for people on the left to politicize it until there was anti-LGBT plus legislation introduced. Of course, they would then bring it up after the fact.
yeah. It was only done to stir feelings.
Well, yeah, but it worked though, Anthony. It
Oh,
worked, right?
listen, from a marketing perspective,
It was
genius,
terrific. Oh,
So,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
So what do you got?
you know, I was gonna say the other thing I'm gonna post in here is like, for example, the Leah Thomas situation where the girls on the team were essentially speaking out against, feeling uncomfortable in the locker room with someone who still had male parts and everything. So that's what I was gonna post as well.
Well, I mean, listen, you just don't look
Wait,
down.
wait. See, this is what I'm talking about. What were you saying?
Yeah, just I mean, I'm sorry that somebody has different parts, but that's not a prerequisite to be in the locker room or not.
Wait, so that's what I'm saying. The type of evidence that people try to show you, you don't want to
Well,
necessarily
this wouldn't
take.
be evidence. These are opinions that we're talking about here.
Okay, but
This is
my
opinion.
claim was about an opinion, though. My
Well,
claim was
but
that the opinions of these women are that they're uncomfortable.
but that you have to show objective data for. If you're going to
What do you
say the
mean?
majority of them feel that way, that you have to provide numbers for. If we're talking about whether we feel one
Mhm.
should go in a restroom or locker room or
And
not,
then what did
that's
I
an
say in
opinion.
response to that?
You didn't provide the data. You didn't provide a poll.
No, if I'm saying what did I explain in response to that?
I don't know, man. You have yet to provide the data, so I'm not sure.
You didn't quite listen to me, and I'm not
He was
upset at you
talking
about it,
about
but you
how
didn't
it
quite
how it
listen to me.
takes time, but time is not up to the host. Time is up to you. You
No,
came
no,
up here
that's not what I said.
unprepared.
I said, well, I did
That is
say that, but
exactly what you
that's not
said.
what
You
I'm
said I
referring to.
can't come up with all of the data because that takes time, and you should do your research too. We could rewind the
I
tape.
got you. I
It's
did say that. I'm
exactly
saying
what you
that's not what I
said.
was referring to.
So what
I
is it you're
know
referring
that's
to?
what you said.
All right. So
Yeah,
what is it you're
not what I
referring
was
to?
referring to is
All
what
right.
I meant to say.
What is it you're referring to?
I got you. Hold on.
Listen, people are going to be uncomfortable with any sort of person being in a restroom or a locker room. The point of a locker room is to change. The point of a restroom is to alleviate yourself, right? Like, don't look down. I don't know about you, but I've never seen anybody else's private parts in a restroom. And it's I just walk in, I do my thing, wash my hands, leave.
Yeah.
Um,
I've been going to restrooms on my own, let's see, for probably 55 years now. And I'm fairly certain that's never occurred. Nor
now,
have I paid attention.
now I will say
In
in the
my
locker
presence, it's
room,
never occurred.
I will say in the locker room, I'm oftentimes exposed to things I don't want to see, typically by very old men that seem to not want to wear clothes around the entire locker room walking around. But I'm sorry, that's any locker room that you go in. You're going to see things necessarily you don't want to see. Don't go into a locker room if that's that's how you feel.
Yeah. Or,
Right?
or don't change at the facility, get in your car, drive home, and take care of it there because,
Sure.
to your point, yeah.
Well, no, Steven, it's
And
not just men,
honestly,
because I would imagine, and I don't want to necessarily speak for one, so tell me if I'm wrong, I'd imagine you sometimes see women that in the locker rooms that are not wearing clothes that you'd rather not see without clothes. I'm sure that goes both ways. Women, you can tell me if that's not true, but I would imagine not.
I mean, it would stand to reason,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
It's taking an awful long time to come up with a single source, which I don't know if I've ever seen a poll that, proved anything.
I haven't seen any, although funny enough, I did have a conversation about this. Gosh, it was probably 2 months ago this month, at this point, maybe a month and a half ago. And funny enough, it actually showed a minority of women cared about which restroom people used. It asked about whether they should be using men's, women's, or unisex. And it showed that the majority, that whatever data this person provided, I don't remember what it was. It was a while ago.
Didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they just didn't really give a shit.
I mean, at the end of the day, can you remember, I'm a bit older than you, but can you remember pre or post military time in your life, people ever talking about who used a bathroom?
It just wasn't a conversation. Yeah, it just
Right, right.
never was spoken
Other
of.
than other than the often women's bathroom line at an event space being 9,000 times longer than a men's,
That's
right?
very true.
And
That's very
and
true.
that used to baffle me. I'm like, why is that? And then when you get a job and you go and clean them, you're like, oh, there's a lot of real estate taken up by stalls, and there's only so many stalls you can have, right? So that then explained it.
All
But
right.
yeah,
So
What do you got,
here's
man?
some polls. Oh, damn it. Hold on. The character limit's high. Let me try to erase some of it. Hold on.
Okay. What's the because I can pull it up on my computer. What's the source? I don't know if it lets me copy and paste from the comment section. Do you have the?
I don't think it does still, right?
It says
I might be able
public
to. I can try.
split over
Public
bathroom
split?
use by transgender people, and it's like some polls talking about, if people feel like they should use the bathroom of their gender assigned at birth, or they're aligned with their birth sex.
Oh, from Pew Research, April 14th, 2024, that one?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So there you go. Pew Research, April 14th, 2024. Public split over bathroom should be enough. I mean, I've got it up.
Yeah, it should be
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, if you want to, I don't have it up right now, Anthony.
Okay. Here's how it starts. Americans overall are closely divided on the question of which public restroom transgender individuals should be using. But similar to the other issues addressed in the survey, those who attend religious services on a regular basis lean somewhat more strongly toward the conservative position. In this case, that transgender people should be required to use the public restrooms for the gender they were born into. 6 in 10 of those who attend religious service weekly take this stance, while a similar share of those who attend church less frequently say transgender people should be allowed to use the restroom matching their gender with which they identify. So, again, people are imposing their religiosity.
Religiosity?
Yes, it's a word. Use a dictionary, look it up.
No, okay, that's fine.
The fact that you don't know things doesn't mean you should question them.
All right,
like
that's
that.
fine, dude. Don't have to get
Okay.
touchy about it. It's fine.
No, this is not touchy. This is about undereducated people coming up on
I
lives
got you.
ill
I
prepared.
didn't know one word, and I'm undereducated now.
Yes, well, clearly
Yeah.
you are, because it took you 30 minutes to come up with one link, and this link doesn't support your hypothesis.
So first of all, let me go ahead and break that down. First of all, I'm multitasking. Second of all, it certainly does. It's not a hypothesis necessarily. It was an assertion. And so what I said was that women feel uncomfortable. That's an opinion, right? And so what I brought up were YouTube and a study or a poll that both express people feeling uncomfortable. And so what I'm saying is, yes, people do feel uncomfortable. This country is mostly religious. If you look at actual data, yeah, most of the country is religious in some way, shape, or form. And so, yes, people are going to use their culture and religion to inform some of their ideas. I myself am an atheist. However, I have a different standpoint. I still agree with the religious people because I think we're agreeing as people rather than religious people. Yes, there may be a correlation with non-religious people and having more liberal or progressive ideas. Fair enough. But that's not what my assertion was talking about. My assertion was that people were feeling uncomfortable, namely women. And this probably shows you somewhere throughout here that men and women are feeling uncomfortable with that. So yes.
So let me just hold on, stop for a second. Let me just tell you what the byline of this Pew Research article is.
Okay.
Where the public stands on religious liberty versus non-discrimination. So it still doesn't support your assertion because because
my assertion is that people feel uncomfortable.
No. The entire focus of this individualized, because it breaks it down into white evangelicals, white mainline, black Protestant, and Catholics.
But does it break it down by women though? But the question is, how do women
No,
feel?
it's
Right.
only by religion.
Okay,
And then first it's by religion, and then they do a second sampling where it's men, women, white, black, Hispanic, and then an age range.
okay.
And then all of that is
Wait,
then
all you're saying is
combined
they have
into another
a
data
bunch
set.
of data that's specific. That's great that they're breaking it down like that. Why is that bad?
Uh,
That's good.
I don't
That
think
lets you
That's
know
not
what
what
type
I
of people.
said.
I don't think he's saying it's bad.
Okay, so what's your point in bringing that up? So what?
He's just explaining the data that's there. That's all. But
I understand the data is there. I'm looking at it. I brought it to you.
we can talk about people's feelings, right? Whether majority or minority
Wait,
of women feel.
that's the whole thing. Can you at least concede that people do feel uncomfortable?
I
Like a
never
good bit of people
said.
do?
I never said that some don't feel uncomfortable. Of course do. Of course some do.
Well, I'm not even saying some. I think it's a large amount. It's
Well,
just
but we were saying whether it was a majority or not.
right,
Yeah,
right.
and what
So
I
when
want,
you know that
stop,
the issue is, hold on, wait. The issue is that when
apparently
you
not.
do these searches, right, there's so many sources that are talking about how trans people are affected. Very little are
Good,
Oh,
Erica.
that wasn't me.
Good, Erica.
I
how
just wanted to
non-trans people
say,
feel.
I think,
People are
I think,
prioritizing how trans people are affected rather
apparently,
than
even
regular
when
people.
someone mutes you, you're still not quiet. That's weird.
Because I haven't
Um,
finished and you cut me off.
well, because
Well, you're
the
being
thing
rude, so
is,
there you go. You're excusing being rude. Thank you. Now you can go.
the thing is, in order to evaluate the impact that the anti-trans rhetoric has had on how people feel about this, what you would require is a similar survey from prior to all of the anti-trans rhetoric that has been spread. That's what you would require.
What do you mean? What do you mean
Because-
prior to?
Right, okay. If you actually let me finish, then
I'm asking you to clarify because,
this,
like, prior
this
to.
anti-trans. Okay,
Show's
if you
fun.
let me
Show's fun.
finish. So, the anti-trans rhetoric that we've seen really only started around 2015, 2016. Prior to that, trans people had been using bathrooms and changing rooms for time immemorial, and cis people hadn't, for the most part, even noticed that trans people were using the same bathrooms and restrooms as them. So
Right.
my question is this: how much of this discomfort is down to the fact that people are being told that trans people, that they should feel uncomfortable because trans people are using the same facilities?
Probably
Because
next to none.
anyway, I'm still talking.
Well, you asked
So
me a
what
question.
I will tell you is, no, I didn't ask you a question.
You did.
It
You
was
said how. That's a question
It was
word.
rhetorical.
Why would you
Anthony
ask me a
is
rhetorical
right.
question in debate?
First of all, this is not a debate, it's a conversation.
Why would you ask me a rhetorical question in conversation then?
Well, I didn't ask you a rhetorical question in a conversation.
Why would you not be asking me a
rhetorical
question?
questions, for fuck's sake. You don't ask rhetorical questions to people.
I get it. It's to
Paige, you
illustrate
You
your
just
point.
muted me.
That was Paige did it by accident.
Doug, we can't hear you. You muted me instead of muting yourself.
No.
Instead of
Paige did it by
unmuting
accident. Paige did it by accident.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a rhetorical question is not asked to a person. A rhetorical question is just a thought that is being expressed out loud as a question. Anyway, I'm 47 years old, and I know for a fact that trans people have been using the same bathrooms as me and the same dressing rooms as me, changing rooms as me.
Wait, the issue here is you guys, like, you're sitting here.
For pretty
my
much
God.
my entire life. And
You're
the reason I
sidestepping
know
the point,
that,
though.
the reason I know
Let her finish
that
and then
is
you can go.
because I've been involved in theatre for nearly my entire life. And there are far more trans people who are in the theatrical and artistic world than there are in any other kind of industry or whatever. And what I'm not uncomfortable at all, because in the theatrical world, anyone who's been involved in it will know this. You have quick changes at the side of the stage where the entire stage crew can see you, be they male or female, they can all see you, and where you just have to be comfortable in your own skin getting changed in front of anybody. And Stephen, in a restroom, I don't know, Stephen, if you've ever been in a women's restroom, but in a women's restroom, we have stalls. Everybody does whatever business they're doing in a stall. Nobody gets to see anybody else's parts because we're all in a stall. There is no showing of bits to anybody else because we're all in a stall. And if the United States did what the rest of the freaking world does and actually has its stalls so they're completely enclosed and there's not a 1.5 inch gap down the side of them, no one would see anybody. This is a weird problem. It's not illogical, Stephen. You're illogical. If you're in a stall, nobody can see any part of your body. I'm not adverse to seeing somebody else's hands when they wash them.
Okay, all right. So I don't even know what your point was with all that. I found that a lot of that impossible to respond to because you're sidestepping the main conversation. The only thing worth responding to, I think, there is you're talking about like we were talking about the opinions of people. I love that for you that you're in the entertainment industry and that you're in a point in your life where you're part of a population that's overwhelmingly going to be catered towards LGBT people.
You didn't
They just
listen.
tend to gravitate
You
towards that. I don't know
didn't
why.
listen.
I don't
That's
think you
great.
really
You didn't.
listened to
You
what you
didn't
said,
listen.
man.
You didn't
But I'm not
listen.
talking about that. What our
What are you
original
talking
claim
about?
was that the majority of
Did
women
you
don't
hear the
feel
bit that I
comfortable with
said
that.
No,
first of
but
all?
that you didn't
I
prove,
want.
though.
Okay,
That you, but that he didn't prove.
I am.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I am going to ask you this. I am going to ask you this question now. Then I'm going to ask it rather than it being rhetorical.
Sure.
How much of people's discomfort with trans people in bathrooms is related to the fact that they're trans, and how much is related to the anti-trans rhetoric and the fact they've been told they should be afraid of trans people?
I think a lot of it is just going back to people's like understanding of the world before this was a politicized issue. I think the left
When they
politicized it
didn't
by
care.
bringing so much
But
awareness to it. And
wait.
so
Why would
to
wait? Hold on, though. Why would the left out of nowhere start speaking about it? That doesn't make
because it
sense.
became a cultural talking
Why
point
would
and
they
people
start
running
talking about it? For
campaigns
what
based on
reason?
that.
For what reason would they just start talking about it out of nowhere if there's
They don't talk
nothing?
about it out of nowhere. They look at what we're
So
already
tell me
talking
why
about
they
and
started
they
talking
use
about it.
that.
Tell me when and why they first started talking about it. That made it this issue.
I can't tell you
That
exactly
wasn't the
when, but I know in about 2015 is when I started noticing it a lot.
because of who making it an
Because of the
issue.
whole no, because I think that what started it was the whole. I don't know about you in the UK, and Miss Erica, but I know in the United States we had this whole
Thank you,
debacle
Tim.
about a bakery not wanting to bake a cake for like a gay couple for their wedding, and that
Mhm.
kind
That
of
has
started a
nothing to do
chain.
with it.
That
That has
started a
nothing to do
chain
with trans people in
reaction. Hold on,
bathrooms.
hold on. That started a
Well,
chain reaction of
let finish and then
conversations,
you can go.
and so what?
It-
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead. Go
so
ahead.
what happened was after that, we started talking about all the other parts of the, queer community, the LGBT community, and so on and so forth. And so what happened was people started to push the envelope, and then it became a cultural talking point. And now politicians, they're only going to sit here and blow up everything that we're saying and thinking about because they know that that's what they're going to run on to divide and
Like
conquer. So they're
Republicans.
going
Yeah.
to,
Yeah, Republicans. Yeah.
and Democrats, and
They
Democrats.
okay, cool. All right. Hey,
Yes, they
Anthony, I
mask
don't want
it
to
and
Anthony, I
care,
don't
but
want
it's
to have
not
too big
care.
of a panel. Do you mind if I bring you back into the comments, Anthony? Anthony, you're on mute. I just because I want to have Laney up here just for because I
It's
want
your
I want
life. You know how I am. Just do it and pull
yeah
me up
okay
when you need
no
me.
no no but I didn't want to do it without saying.
I
But
got you.
thanks for seeing it,
Yeah, dude.
Anthony. Yeah, take care.
Yeah, man.
All right, go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, so it all started in 2015 very purposefully. See, something else happened in 2015, and that was the Obergefell versus Hodges court case, the Supreme Court case. Do you know what that is? Are you familiar?
Repeat that last part you said.
Obergefell versus Hodges. Are you familiar with that?
I think I remember that. I mean, so what is your point exactly? Trying to like refute what I was talking about, like where this whole
I'm saying
conversation
why it
started, or
happened in 2015.
Right, right. That's exactly what I'm saying. Kind of refuting when I was talking about the cake issue. I mean, we can disagree on
Yeah, it's not about the
exactly
cake
what
issue.
started
It was
it,
about
but
Obergefell. Yeah,
you
now
know,
there was
whatever.
a
Sure.
lot. There was a lot of anti-gay um, sentiment prior
Hmm.
to 2015, right? But as time was going on, like from the 90s and up to that point,
Hmm.
gay and lesbian people were being more accepted overall
For
in
sure.
society.
Yep.
And to the point where the Supreme Court decision came down, and that was Obergefell versus Hodges, that gay people could get married. Now, prior to that, conservative think tanks had been pushing, and politicians had been pushing the idea that if gay people are allowed to get married, then people will start marrying fire hydrants and their dogs and roller coasters,
That's fair
right?
enough.
You think that's fair?
Yeah, I think you have to examine the
Okay,
extreme
wait.
because if left unchecked,
Did
things will
people
always reach
start
the
to?
extreme.
Okay, gay people can get married now, right? And they have been for
Hmm.
the last 11 years.
Yep.
You seen any headlines of people
Yeah, I
marrying
don't think
fucking
I think
roller
it's
coasters?
disingenuous. It doesn't take 1 decade for things to get crazy. Yeah, but if
Oh
left
my God.
unchecked, things always reach their logical extreme.
That logical?
Yeah. So like for example, if left unchecked, when you let a population of people like say be violent, they're gonna take the violence to an extreme, like in
Maybe
Germany in the
you would.
1940s.
Okay. Okay, great. So we
Right.
should really
You see how
not
that got extreme?
so we should not be allowing
Wait, do you agree
concentration
to
camps to
that?
be built. So we should not be allowing concentration camps to be built on our
Wait, do
soil,
you agree
right?
to that? Do you agree to
So we
that?
should not be allowed
Wait,
to,
can
we
you at
should
least
not
answer? Do
be
you agree to
allowing
that?
them. No, dummy.
You don't agree
Um,
that things will get to their
we
logical
should not
extreme if
allow
left unchecked? No.
authoritarianism. No, we should not allow authoritarianism. Gay marriage is not authoritarianism. I
I'm
don't
not
know if
saying
you're
that. I'm
aware.
saying, do you agree that things will get to their
Hey,
logical extreme if
did
left
anybody
unchecked?
Laney
come to
already
your
said
door and
no
force
numerous
you to
times.
marry a guy? Did anybody come to your door and force you to marry a man or a dog or a fire hydrant?
Do you think this is about forcing individuals to do that, or do you think it's about promoting
I
an
think they
ideology that
thought
people
so.
disagree with? I think it's
I
about
think
promoting
that
an
Where's
they
that being
thought so.
ideology.
promoted?
And listen, the point is that that was illogical, and I can't believe that you
What do you
think it
mean?
is
How is that
logical.
illogical?
That you think people were gonna marry fucking fire hydrants.
Yeah, there are already cases of people trying to marry pieces of pie before this got
Oh
crazy.
my
And so I think that
dude.
once you start,
And what
hold
does
on,
that have to do? What does that have to do
because
with
there's already
two
a group of people that will
consenting
probably do
two
that.
consenting sane individuals of the same gender getting married? What does it have to do with it?
Because what people are saying is that marriage is this specific thing and it has a lot of significance within religion and culture.
No, it's you
And
wanting
when
to
you go
force your
outside of
religion
it,
onto everyone.
first of all, I'm an atheist. I don't care about
Legally,
that.
marriage is a contract. Yes, you do
No,
care
I
about
got
it.
you.
You're
But
lost in the sauce for an atheist.
absolutely not.
But
You haven't let me
here's the
finish, defend.
you
But
You haven't let
you
me
didn't
finish.
let me get through my point because you went down the fucking slippery slope for some reason. But what
The
I'm
slippery
trying to
slope
say
is
is,
always pretty valid because it always goes
no, it
slippery and it always
isn't.
gets down to the end
Okay,
of the
but you
slope.
did not.
And it's really
You
crazy.
okay? You say it always did. Did it?
Always
No, you
does.
said just
Yeah.
wait. Here it comes. People are about to start marrying their dogs. You're
How
freaking
long did
nuts,
it take
dude.
for Germany to start rounding up Jews? Do you think it took
Not
for
long.
1 day or a
Less
decade? Or
than
do
a
you think
decade. Less
it
than
did
a
not take
fucking
less than a
decade.
decade?
yes,
Yes,
it
it
did.
did. When
No, it
did Hitler
didn't.
take?
So,
When did Hitler
How
so
become
long?
yeah, let me
chancellor?
explain
When
it
did
to you. Let me
Hitler
explain
become
it to you.
chancellor?
Let me explain
When
it
did
to
Hitler
you.
become
I
chancellor?
will explain it to
When
you.
did
I
Hitler
Okay.
will
become
answer you.
chancellor?
Just be
What
quiet
year?
for like 1 second.
What year? Just say the
I
year.
got
What
you.
year?
So what happened was there's already a sentiment of
1933.
anti-Semitism
Since
in
you're not going to
Germany.
say year, I'm
I'm
going to
going to
say
explain it to you.
1933. When did the
You have to let
first
me finish
camps?
it. You
When
talking
did
over
the
me, not
first
letting me
camp
explain it
start?
is not you winning the conversation. So what I'm saying is already a sentiment of anti-Semitism in Germany and most of Europe. And so Hitler, like, after World War One, started gaining a lot of traction on a small level in the late 1920s and 30s. And then after the 30s, he became chancellor. I think was it 36. Uh,
33.
I'll have to fact check that. I don't think it was 33. I think he was
It's
part of the.
33.
I think he was
33.
part of
That
the
also
National
happened to be
Socialist Movement.
also happened to be the same year when he became chancellor that he
Mhm.
ransacked the Museum of Sexual, or so the Institute of Sexual Research, and burned all the research on gay and trans people because they were
That didn't happen
anti-queer
in the
too.
30s. I don't believe. I think
Bullshit
it happened in
happened
the
in
40s.
1933. Do you think someone who researches this
Let
thoroughly,
me take a
wouldn't
look. Let's
know
see.
that? And also, the first camp was in Dachau in 1939, so that's 6 years, less than a decade.
Guys, keep tapping and sharing if you're
Well,
enjoying live. Click the red follow button on the top left. Follow Laney and follow Erica, please.
well, first of all, I said anti-Semitism had already been something prevalent there. It didn't take less than a decade for all that to come into play. Hitler making the first
And
concentration camp is not like the mark of when it started. It had to have already had some like ground
no, I said it had been
before
building,
that.
right? But
Huh?
listen,
Wait, what did you say?
I said it had been building. Yeah, like it took 6 years for him to get the first camp. Trump
No,
did
but
it
I'm
in a
saying
year.
them building
Wow,
the
that's
first camp
amazing.
isn't the marker for when that type of thing was like permissible in people's minds.
Yeah,
That was
no, but
already
you were saying
something.
it was a slippery slope. They built the
Yeah,
camp. They
exactly.
were on the
So for a
way,
long
Can,
time,
right?
anti-Semitism
okay,
was rampant in Europe, and then it reached
Yeah.
this
And who did
extreme.
that?
but
Who did
What are you
that?
talking about? All of
Was that a
Europe.
conservative movement or a liberal movement to
I
start
don't think it had anything to do with modern ideas
to
of
demonize?
politics.
well, sure.
Oh,
There's an
really?
ideology that
Oh, they
allows
didn't
that.
have liberals and conservatives?
There's an ideology that allows that.
Yeah, I
Who
don't think that it would be
what was the
equivalent,
first
Was
honestly.
party?
Nazism liberal or conservative?
Well, I'm not talking about Nazis. I'm talking about anti-Semitism in
But
Europe that
okay,
would
but
even allow
what
that to be
what was the first
widely
party
spread.
that Hitler got rid of? The
I
first
don't think
couple
it was
parties.
about. It's not about Hitler though, and it's not
But
about party.
but it is. But if
You
they
were the
went
one
after
that
the
brought us to
communists and
this
I mean,
meeting.
socialists,
even
clearly
going
they
back
were
to the
far
Roman
right.
Empire, there's anti-Semitism.
Okay, but
So
You
it
were
took
the
a
one that
long
brought us
those
to
time.
things
the
are
example,
more of a
dude.
conservative ideology. That wouldn't be a
It
progressive
I
ideology.
think that the Romans were comparatively liberal, if you want to use
All right.
that.
Okay,
But what
we're
I'm
getting way
saying
off
is,
topic, anyways. We're getting
we're
incredibly
not
off
getting
topic.
off topic.
We are. The whole
Yes,
You're
we
off.
point.
are,
You're
We're
because
getting
I
you're
was
playing.
literally
incredibly
trying
off
to
topic.
say how we got to the trans bathroom thing, and now we're in fucking World War II. So could we get back to it? Just,
You said there
just
was a slippery slope,
humor
right?
me,
Yeah.
humor me, okay? Whether you believe the slope or not, the narrative by the conservatives was that if we allow gay people to get married, that the sanctity of marriage was going to be ruined. But guess what? Straight people can still get married and still get divorced at the same ridiculously high rates,
Yes, but the
right? So
argument is that when people are part of
don't
a
get
club and everyone can
sidetracked.
get
I'm
in,
not done
then it doesn't
yet.
mean anything anymore. That's the
Don't
point.
get side. It still means something. You can still fucking get married, dude.
What does
Like
it
you can
mean
still get
though?
married. You can still get the tax
How,
benefits. You can
what
still have hospital visitation, and
what
that's literally
changed,
all
man?
queer people were asking
Yeah.
for.
What
Um,
has changed?
they weren't saying you have to marry us in your church. They were just saying, can
They
we like
actually were
have the
pushing for
fucking
that. That's
legal
why I brought up the
paperwork?
cake
No, they
incident.
weren't.
That person lost
That
like
was
pretty much their
literally
entire
like
business because he didn't want to bake a
because
cake for
that's not a
somebody
church.
who went
Because a
against his
cake business
religion.
is not a church. It's not a
I
religious
don't care
cake.
that. But what I'm trying to
It's
say
just a
is people
cake.
are socially ostracized, and the left is ostracizing
Yeah.
people
What?
out of
Hey,
society because they
was
don't
that
agree.
was his cake
Who's being
business a
ostracized?
non-profit church or was it a
What does
business
that have to do with
in which he's
anything?
not? Because businesses are not supposed to be legally allowed
It's
to
his
discriminate
private
against
business.
people. Yeah, as a business that provides a public service, he's not supposed to be allowed to discriminate against
He's not
people
supposed to
based
be, or
upon
he isn't.
he's not legally supposed to be.
What do you mean he's not legally supposed to be? He can deny people service.
You can deny people service, but you cannot discriminate.
You
You
can't do it on
cannot
the
do it
basis of that. Yeah.
because of
Yeah.
you cannot do it because of an inherent trait of a person that is not within their control. And before you go into like, oh, well, they can control whether they're gay or not. If you think that, then you're bi. But anyway, we're gonna keep going because you keep trying to sidetrack me. So, after the Obergefell decision, conservatives needed a new boogeyman to scare people into voting. Right? They literally talked about this. There were emails and emails and emails that were released years later from groups like Heritage Foundation, Alliance Defending Freedom, American Policy Alliance, tons of others, like a dozen other ones. And they started writing back and forth with state legislators, and they said we need a new boogeyman. They picked trans people. Literally, Terry Schilling of the American Principles Project, he was the president of the American Principles Project. He said, we threw everything at the wall to see what would stick. We came up with trans people.
I
And
got
so
you.
they
So
started with the
do
bathroom bill in
you think
2016
that?
in North Carolina. It went abysmally. They went back to the drawing board and they said, all right, what we got to do is go after the kids
So
because
I
that's
got
where
you.
we
You're
can get a
appealing to
consensus.
legality, but what I'm saying,
No,
you
I'm
think a
appealing
private
to the
business.
history of what happened, the
But I'm saying
recorded
without
history of what
appealing to
happened.
legality, which is a logical fallacy,
I am not
do you
appealing to
think it's
legality. I am
permissible?
telling you the
Do you
history
think
of
it's
how it
permissible
happened.
for the government to say that you, as a private business owner, can't
You are
decide who you
trying
want to
to
give
get
service to?
sidetracked. It's some
I'm
bullshit.
not
I'm trying to
sidetracking you. I'm
talk
asking
about
you
the
that it's
bathrooms.
part of the crux of the argument. So I'm saying if you have a private business, you shouldn't be allowed to refuse someone's service.
It doesn't matter. That's not what we're
Well, I'm just
talking
asking you,
about.
do you think that?
My opinion is that dude is a bigot, and I hope that he lost
I don't care
everything.
about if you think he's a bigot. Do you think a person who owns their own business can decide whether or not to serve somebody?
If they don't say why,
But
if
who
they just
cares? It's
said,
your
I
it's your
can't make that
business.
cake today, what he decided was, I don't make cakes for bundles of sticks.
Right. If it's on the
That's
business. Hold on, I
hilarious.
gotta
That he
read the
said bundles
donation
of
log. I gotta
sticks.
read the donation
That's
log.
pretty funny, actually.
David, thank you for the 20 on the blue out with a V. Thank you so much. Says, for the record, I would marry a pecan pie right now if I could. Please let
Okay.
Lainey decide if and
There
when
you
she
go.
wants to cook
Slippery slope.
this cook talk. But he was
You don't
joking.
understand humor?
He was joking.
I understand it as a joke, okay? I laughed at the joke when you said bundles of sticks.
Guys, we are looking for
Yeah.
opposition. If you disagree with the background, you voted for Trump, etc., hit the request button at the bottom. Thank you so much, David. David in the chat.
But anyway, that is why you give a shit about trans people in the bathroom. Now,
No, that's
I'm
not why I
wondering
give a shit.
why you want me with my tits and pussy in your bathroom so bad.
Can you explain the harm
Well-
of it? Like, let's stop saying who started what. We're never going to agree on it. Why is it
Okay.
harmful for trans women and trans men to use those respected restrooms?
I think one of the overarching things, I think big picture, is that it's essentially equivocating men who get surgery to women. And I think that's a harmful ideology.
It's not an ideology.
It is an ideology because it's not
No,
literally
it
true.
isn't. It is literally true.
It's a lie.
Wait, you're saying men who
Weird.
get surgeries are not women?
Yes, trans
No,
women
but
are not
that
women.
didn't answer my question, though. What is harmful about a trans woman using a woman's restroom?
You don't think that's
using a men's
harmful to
restroom?
promote something that's not true?
What's
as a
the harm?
lie?
Tell me-
Because
tell
that
me
leads
the-
down the slope of you
We're not doing
giving
the slippery
permissions
slope
and-
thing.
and
We're not doing slippery slope.
privileges.
We're not doing slippery slope. Tell me what is
Yeah,
the
but
harm of a
it gives you the right to
dude,
give
you got to answer the
privileges and rights
question.
to people
You
who are
have to
not
answer
women,
the
and you
question.
give
The
women
privilege
certain
to
privileges, rights.
Stop.
to
You got to
when
answer
my
the question.
bladder's
Thanks for
full, that's
interrupting
not
me
a
so you don't hear my
privilege.
point.
Okay, stop. Good.
The act of peeing when my bladder is full is not a
Yes,
privilege.
but what I'm saying is we give women certain protections for a reason, and we don't
and
give
you
those
give
to
me
men.
and you give me none. I get none
Right. Are
because
you a
if I
man?
have to go to a men's room,
Okay,
my dear,
Right,
you're
you're
still
a man,
not.
you made
Hold
it.
on.
To a
But
men's- Shh, everybody. If I have to go to a men's room, it is not a matter of if I will be assaulted. It is a matter of when and how often. They have literally done studies to see in municipalities that allow trans people to use the restroom that align with their gender identity, does it increase crime in those spaces? And guess what? It doesn't. In fact, it is more likely for a crime to increase in those spaces when you make trans people go into the bathroom of their
Well, okay, what if we had a third bathroom?
Great. Are you going to build them?
Sure, I'll put money. I'll pay taxes for it.
You
Yeah.
pay the
every single
billions of
place.
dollars for
Yeah.
every public institution
Well,
to
you
have
know
a
what's crazy?
third
We already kind
bathroom,
of have
sweetie.
third bathrooms called family changing rooms.
And
Some
not
places.
every place does.
Some
and
does,
guess
but-
what?
Well, yeah, put them
I'm
up.
still not going to use that one single space
Okay, so now
thing
you're
because
refusing to compromise.
because I want to leave that open for families that need it and
You're
people
refusing
who
to
have
compromise.
and
That's not what Lady
people
said.
who are differently able.
If there's no one in there, who cares? If it's a
You know
single
what?
bathroom, no one
I'm
else can
going to
be in
go into
there.
the ladies' room and nobody cares. I do
Yeah,
it all the
because
time
you
and
want to
nobody
affirm
cares.
yourself in an ideology that goes against
No,
reality.
I don't want to get raped, you fucking
No one's
idiot.
gonna rape you. I guarantee you.
Bullshit.
Can you? Oh
I
my
have
god!
been
First of all, please
assaulted.
be TikTok appropriate. Please say grape.
Sorry,
Jesus.
no one's gonna grape you.
I have been assaulted, you
Have you
fucking
been raped?
fool noodle.
Oh, stop it.
Oh my god. Fuck
Can
this
I
guy.
say statistics would go against what you just said. But what I find interesting.
What statistic says most men?
Let her finish. Let her finish.
Why can't you let anybody else finish their point?
I haven't
Ever?
been allowed to finish either.
I waited until everybody was quiet before I spoke. And yet you can't let me speak. What I find interesting about this is you keep talking about, well, that's a fallacy or that's an appeal to whatever. The slippery slope is also a fallacy. It's called the slippery slope fallacy. And the reason that we don't take the slippery slope fallacy is because more times than not, we don't reach the extreme of anything. And if we are going to take
Wait, why not? Why don't we?
If we are going to take the slippery slope fallacy,
Well, I'm just clarifying why don't we reach the extreme?
I'm not. Stop. I'm still talking. You can ask me a question at the end. If we are thinking about the fact that that slippery slopes reach their conclusion, and we should always think about the extreme, then we need to think about the extreme of the fact that trans people and the LGBTQIA plus community are currently being discriminated against.
You got
so
paid
what
to
if
kick.
that slippery slope reach its ultimate conclusion? You don't give a shit about that.
Guess I want to let you know. Hold on. People dislike you so much that you got paid to kick. Thank you, Obi. WOB in the comments.
Thanks, Obi.
Oops, sorry.
It's nice to see you, Lainey. I haven't seen you for ages.
I wasn't speaking at all
I always
that whole
come
time.
to Doug's to crash out.
I thought I was speaking for a good minute. Sorry. WOB, thank you. And yes, I have mods. Somebody said, do you have mods? What's been going on in the comments? Is there something... What's going on?
Oh, just people calling me a man and like blah, blah, blah.
Okay. No, I have plenty of mods.
I don't give a shit, y'all. Like, they can call me whatever the fuck they want. I'm going to still use the ladies' room because I don't want to be great. And I don't hurt anyone. I use the bathroom. I go in my stall, I pee, I wash my hands, and I leave. And the stalls exist, you fucking morons. I have never, ever seen anyone's genitals but my own in a public restroom. We don't want you to see our genitals. We're not fucking creeps like you. We're not obsessed with other people's genitals like you. You elected a goddamn PDF.
Who admitted
the fucking
that
king of the PDFs.
Who admitted that he went into a woman's restroom?
And you want to put all of this shit on us. It's fucking horrid. You should be ashamed of yourselves. You monsters.
I mean, they voted for a literal guy that literally went into a woman's changing room. Right? So if they're so against men going into women's changing rooms,
multiple
they should have voted
times
for that guy. Yeah, multiple. Who admitted
because
to it?
He was adjudicated for one of his assaults, and then for leering at teenagers in a pageant dressing room. He just bragged about it on a radio show, and everybody chuckled. And then they voted for him.
It is wild that some of these people...
Was he wearing a dress?
Right, it wasn't even. Just probably his whatever suit they normally wears.
He was wearing a fucking ridiculous polyester tied, like, fucking scraping the ground.
It is wild to me that they believe that Democrats, people on the left, whatever, are the ones who, quote unquote, started this whole thing in 2015-ish, right? It's wild that they think that. Like, they would have no reason to. It wouldn't make sense to.
No.
Clearly, it was the ones on the right trying to politicize. Obviously.
Why would we start demanding to use the spaces that we were already using?
Yeah, like, it makes no sense. Right. Guys, remember, we're looking for opposition. So opposition being a conservative Trump supporter, you disagree with the background, whatever, just hit the request button. As far as friendlies, I'm good on that, guys. I got enough. So Tyrone, hello.
Yeah, I think the mental institutions need to be back open.
Okay, how old are you?
This person...
How old are you? Hold on, hey, I can't have a conversation. You tell me your age.
Yeah, 30.
Great. 30. Okay. You didn't really start off good. You don't strike me as someone that's willing to have a productive conversation, but maybe you'll surprise me.
Well, so yeah, the mental institutions need to be open back up for this thing on your panel.
Well, we're going to go ahead and go to the next guest.
Hi, Tyrone.
Unless you want to talk to him, you can talk to him. You can talk to him if you want.
One question for Tyrone. Tyrone. So I take it you're
go back to the mental hospital, bro.
I take it you're a student.
Hey, Tyrone, please let Lady speak.
Hi.
Tyrone,
please let Lady speak. Let's have one. If you're, I take it you're afraid of being embarrassed, and so you're going to try to talk through what I'm saying. But what I want to ask you is, where do you go to look up what is and is not a mental illness?
Bro, you're crashing out about the bathroom stalls.
Can you answer the question?
Yes, because I don't want to be great. Yes, because I don't want to be great by creeps like you.
No one wants to grape you, bro. No one wants to grape you. Shut the fuck up.
We are four times more likely. We are four times more likely to be great. And guess what?
What?
Number two, we are 4 times more likely to be
Where'd you
grapes
make
than
that
cisgender
stat?
people are. I didn't make it up. That's just the stat. Williams
That's
Institute at UCLA. Now,
oh
yeah, guess what? Also,
UCLA. Okay.
Pornhub just
So
released
liberal
what their
professor made.
yeah, Pornhub just released what their highest viewed categories were for the last year. And guess what was number two? Trans porn. See, you all
So liberal
objectify us
professors making up
so
stats.
that you can
Gotcha. That's your source.
dehumanize us. No, no, no. And also, Pornhub
Making
is
up stats.
liberal professors. What are you talking about? And also, guess what? They did a little
Liberal
heat
university.
map of where it
That's
gets
not what
done the
Lainey said.
most, and it's in red states. It's in red areas of the country that search for the highest amount of trans porn, and by far, my friends.
Bro,
Ty-
we need to go
Ty-
back.
Tyrone, you
I
misheard
think
Lainey.
the lady does. I think the lady does protest too much.
Go back to your mental
Tyrone, you
hospital,
misheard
bro.
Lainey.
Okay.
Lainey said it was Cornhub is the one that put out the data. Okay, they clearly have the data of their own site. It was them. It wasn't a liberal university.
He cited
so you're wrong.
ACLU before, whatever, UCLA.
That was for a different thing.
And by
He
the
cited
way,
UCLA.
Can you
I'm
stop?
sorry. The stats for that study came from the FBI. The professor did not make them up. You can go look at them on the FBI website.
Oh my gosh.
You don't know what
The
you're talking
liberal
about. Tyrone.
FBI.
Yeah, they're well known for being liberal. Tyrone, be quiet. You
Who's this
sound
person? England?
you sound not bright.
From England?
Oh Lord.
Exactly, the stupid British. There
You
you
just
go.
got paid to kick. Gabby, thank you for the 20 on Venmo. It simply just says
Yeah.
no.
And
Gabby in the
Eric and I
comments.
both have master's degree.
Yeah, we do. And
Thank you,
And
Gabby.
we're educators.
mine's in sociology, which is, guess what? Primarily looking at social statistics.
Liberal.
Isn't it? I'm the libbiest of libs.
And I'm not a fucking liberal. Don't call
Hello,
me that.
guest.
What's
Hello,
up?
guest. Hey, how old are you?
21.
Okay, great. What's up?
So first of all, I'm not from the USA. I'm from Germany, but I think Trump is not doing a bad job, in my opinion.
What do
You would. Are you a fan of the what is it, the GFT or whatever the hell that new Yahtzee party is there in Germany?
Oh, yeah,
No,
what's
I
it called
don't want to. AFD.
That's right. That's right.
AFT, that's it. Yeah, you're familiar. Sure. Do you go to the rallies?
Do you support them?
No, I don't. I don't vote. I don't vote them or support them, but I have ideas.
Why not? They're aligned 100% with MAGA.
Yeah, but I think their Euro policies are not that good for our country and our economy.
Okay, so why do you
Is
think
that
Trump's
right?
doing
But
an
you
okay
think it's
job?
good for us?
Why do
Sorry,
you think
who was talking?
Why do you think Trump's doing an okay job?
I think primarily because he's upgraded ICE and he's doing the job.
Okay, and why is that a good thing?
I mean, if you look at the goal, he wants to get illegal immigrants out and keep illegals out of the country.
But here's
Sure.
But here's the issue with that. With the amount of harm that he has been causing via how ICE is being managed, isn't worth what's happening. Because we saw last, actually under 24, there was more undocumented immigrants deported under Biden. There were 680,000 of them versus 600 and there's about 10,000 under Trump last year with the additional harm of ICE. So clearly whatever he is doing isn't helping. In your eyes, at least.
Yeah, but
because you think more deportations, the better. So clearly, he's not doing a good job if he deported less than Biden did.
Yeah, but can we agree that he upgraded ICE and he invested more than ICE than
he
Obama?
invested more, but that's not a good thing. Clearly, he invested more to deport less.
That's just your opinion, but
that seems really, really counterproductive.
It's not. Hang on a minute, though. It's not an opinion. It's an objective waste of money because, and I'll outline to you why. If ICE were able to deport more people with less money, then giving them more money, significantly more money, by the way, ICE is better funded than many countries' militaries now. Giving them more money to do less work is inefficient in the extreme.
Yeah, you could argue like that, but I think he by investing in ICE and everything, he scares the immigrants. Like if I would be an immigrant, I wouldn't go to the US now. I would
Okay.
rather go
I just
to
want to ask the
Europe
comments. I
or
just want to
anything.
ask the comments question super quick. If you're not an immigrant to the United States and you're scared of what ICE could possibly do to you, put a 1 in the chat for me. If you're not an immigrant to the United States and you're scared about what ICE could do to you, put a 1 in the chat. Oh, look, it turns out it's not just scaring immigrants, it's scaring
Okay, but the people in
native-born
here,
Americans.
the people in here is a little bit biased, I think, because
You
they follow
understand
him.
that we've had multiple citizens that were unalived by ICE and BP, Border Patrol, at this point in the
Yeah,
last year.
I know, but I wouldn't. I know you can argue that the violence is a bit exaggerated, because I don't think that people have to die because of that. And the
Yeah,
two
but they
people.
did though.
Yeah, I know, I know.
But they did though.
Yeah, but it happened, so you can't make
Yeah,
it.
oh yeah, shucks.
Yeah,
Gotta
but
break a few eggs, right? Those are human lives you're talking about.
yeah,
But
I know. But
anyways, also, what about the detainees that are unaliving in captivity because they're not receiving proper health care or nutrition? They're being held longer than they're supposed to legally. Many children being held much longer than they're supposed to,
yeah,
and being held who knows where. 1,200, people at Alligator Alcatraz that just disappeared off the records entirely. Um, this is good.
yeah. The problem is, if it's good, it's an opinion, okay? But all of that also happened under Obama, and nobody cared about that.
No, it didn't. None of those things happened under Obama.
Can you prove that, or
You can't
I
prove a
researched
negative.
it
You
and
I
can't prove
can't. Yeah, I
harm.
can't
That's
prove
on
a
you to
thing that
prove.
didn't happen.
You
It
That's
can't.
on
just
you to
didn't
prove.
happen. Where's the record of it happening?
Yeah, you can't prove a negative. That's you can't prove that something didn't happen, only that it did happen. So that's I don't know why you would ask. We know, for
ICE
example,
existed in 2004, so until
Yeah.
now.
2003 was when ICE was
3, yeah.
started. But what are you alleging existed under Obama?
What? Can you repeat it, please?
What are you saying existed under Obama?
That people were in camps. They were
They weren't in
detained.
camps.
They were detained.
There was no equivalent of. They may have been in detention centers,
Yeah,
but
like
that's
that.
not the same.
That is.
Sorry, that's very
And the,
different from them being in an outdoor facility, which many of the people that worked there resigned because the conditions were so bad. I don't remember there being mass walkout of staff under Obama because conditions were so terrible, unless you can show me where that occurred.
Yeah, no, that's not the thing. But
also,
during
we're not a
Obama,
fan of we're not a fan of Obama deporting as many people as he did either, or Biden. Like I don't see the need for it. They are a net positive. Immigrants are a net positive to our GDP and to our society. Like
yeah,
there's no real reason to be doing this outside of white supremacy.
I get your point. I'm not from the USA, so I can't really relate with that. But the problem is, I think that is that you're just against Trump. It's not about ICE. ICE
No,
existed,
I
and
I
since.
guess
Can you
what?
let me
Guess
finish,
what?
please?
I was on the streets of New York protesting Obama's immigration policies as well.
A lot of people on the left are against ICE in general, no matter who's the president. And so
Yeah, but
that's not really a factual statement.
the uprising was worse. Like when Trump did it.
Well, they're being
But
ramped
hold
up.
on.
They're being ramped up right now.
Yeah.
So of course.
And
Yeah.
you don't seem to understand that the anger against Donald Trump right now isn't it. Yes, it's about ICE, but it's also about the tens or hundreds of other things that he is doing
arresting
It's
journalists, denigrating and punishing, the queer community. Like he's threatening, constantly threatening, TV media stations to remove their FCC licenses. He's ending vaccine mandates, and now we have a measles outbreak. Like there's
well,
so many things to have a problem
and
with.
Can I
and
ask a
also,
question? Can I ask
oh,
a question, please? Um,
sure.
so that we like understand each other, okay? Do you think that illegal immigration should be stopped?
I honestly don't care.
I don't
Oh,
personally
you
think
don't
it's a,
care.
I don't personally think it's a pressing issue. I mean, we do have our laws. Do I think it's like the number one, two, or three issue? No, I think there's far greater things to focus on than that. To be honest,
Okay, but you think that it should be stopped like in the future? That people come in by the law and
Stopped, as
Well,
in no people coming over at all. Or
yeah,
you mean just like, well,
or
actually, you know what?
for
I
work
I
only.
say I say the way that you lower illegal crossings, which again is just a misdemeanor, but the way you lower that is to speed up the process for the quote unquote right way. Right now, we've got ICE going to snatch people at their court hearings, at their asylum hearings. People with no criminal records. They're just getting snatched up. They're doing it the right way. So if we're not allowing them to do it the right way, what other way is there?
well,
I
I want to point out as well. I think the US is currently, you have to look at things like birth rates as well, right? The US, I think, is the US at replacement rate right now? I'm not sure it is. I think it's like
I'm not exactly sure where it's
I
at. I would
think
have to
it's
check.
1.6. Replacement rate is something like 2.3 children per couple, or 2.4 children per couple. Currently the US I think is at 1.6.
1.6.
Yeah, which is below replacement rate. So if the US doesn't have migration, then social security, it will not be a thing within a few years. And the same is true of the UK where I live. We are even lower than the US. I think we're at like 1.2, 1.3 children per couple.
Okay, so you're
So
from Europe. You're from
yeah,
Europe.
I'm from Europe, correct.
Okay, so would you do you think that illegal immigration should be stopped in Europe?
I don't. I'm very much like Laney and Doug. Like, I don't. I think people's issue with migration in Europe is to do with the color of the skin
It's
of the
white
people that are
supremacy.
migrating,
I would say
and
so.
it's not only that. Is Islamophobia also is
Hmm.
very prevalent in Europe, probably more than in the United States because we've had more immigration from Islamic countries. But I want to, like, I'm a teacher and I teach religious studies, and I've taught in schools with like really large numbers of Muslim children. And what I'm going to tell you right now is that I am treated far better by the parents of those kids than I am treated by the parents of the white British kids in every circumstance.
Okay, you can say that. I don't know how to believe you, but like I was in Manchester and Wrexham, okay? In Manchester, I think I only saw like Muslim people. I didn't see
Well,
any.
that's not true. That's not
I,
true. First of all,
yeah, but the majority
how
of
do you tell? No, stop.
the people
Hang
are
on.
Islamic.
Stop. How do you tell a Muslim person just by looking at them?
I mean, you can see that if they are Muslim.
No, you
And
How?
can't.
How?
if I was at the Manchester Mall, and there was like a big stand where they sang like Muslim songs and read
No,
and
no.
Wait,
read the
Okay.
Quran.
I can
How
sing a
do you
Muslim
tell
There
a
song.
are
I can sing a Muslim song. Does that make me
Yeah,
Muslim?
but
Yeah. How do you tell a Muslim person by looking at them?
like
Tell
they
me.
are I don't know how it's called in English. They
They're
are
less than a quarter of the population in Manchester. They're 22% of the population in Manchester, with 36% Christian and 32% no religion at all, and then the others around 1 or less%.
And I wanna say this. There are some Muslim women who wear like the hijab,
yeah,
but
hijab.
there are
Yeah,
stop. But there are an equal amount of Muslim women in the UK who don't wear any religious garb whatsoever. And Muslim men very rarely wear religious garb. So I don't understand. Are you saying that those people just had brown skin, so you assumed that they were Muslims? How do you know they weren't Hindus?
Secular, or yeah.
Yeah. How do you know they weren't Hindus?
yeah. Like I just know they aren't white. You know,
Oh,
that's
they.
what
So
they
I
are.
Yep,
was right.
See,
They
But
were
there it
that
is.
just.
is exactly what we're talking about.
the problem is, I think if you
Hi,
like look at,
hi, hi. Stop. What religion am I?
I don't know. I'm not talking about you. I
I mean,
think the
you gotta
problem
look
is,
at. Look, I have white skin. What religion am I?
finish my sentence, please.
No, just please. I want to prove a point here. What religion am I?
In my opinion, I think we need more countries like Poland, where like
Come on. Hey, I'm of Polish
Christian
descent. I have a little
values
Polish in me. So what? Actually,
preserved
I'm
and
you British, Irish,
what?
and a little bit of Polish, Scandinavian, Italian. What religion am I?
I don't know. Why should I care?
So, but
But
you
you're
could tell that those brown people were Muslim. So, what religion am I?
No,
You have
I
this
just can
religion
tell that
radar. Uh
they
huh.
are another religion. I'm not even religious myself,
No, no,
so
no. So,
why
yeah.
should
So, how do you know that they were religious?
yeah, because they read the Quran and they sang
They
like
were
Muslims.
Right.
walking around the mall reading the Quran.
yeah.
I'm telling you now. I'm
There were
telling you
stands. They
now.
were reading it.
Stop.
All right.
Which mall did you go in? Which mall
Every
did you
brown
go in?
person he saw was reading a Quran at the mall.
Hang on. Which mall did you go in Manchester?
I don't know the name, but it's like the biggest mall, I think.
Yeah, there's no way.
Biggest mall.
There is no way that you walked around. It's called the Trafford Centre. There is no way that you walked around the Trafford Centre and you only saw Muslims. There's not. And what you could have done is walked around that mall and only noticed when you saw a brown person.
Yeah,
That's probably what
it could be it.
happened.
Yep.
But I went. Why has he got this weird echo?
I don't know. That's weird.
He's either I the city that I went to university in is called Leicester. It is the most diverse city in the UK. It has the biggest Diwali celebrations outside of India. It also has a large Muslim community. However, its largest community are still Christians. Some of those Christians have brown skin, but they are Christians. Um, what you're exhibiting here is not only Islamophobia, but it's also racism. Because
And
if a
it's
person has British citizenship, then that person is British. Doesn't matter what color their skin is, they are a British person. And you don't know how many of those people had British citizenship and how many didn't. You have no clue, unless, of course, you went up asking them all for their passports. And I don't know anyone who carries their passport around on a day-to-day basis. But
Right.
that's the only way that you would know.
Yeah, let me
right.
do a quick announcement real quick. Guys, if you're joining live, click the red follow button in the top left. Send in your heart me if you all can. That would be greatly appreciated. Definitely follow Lainey. Definitely follow Erica. Show them a little bit of support if you guys can via gifts. And I got my pay links in my bio, so you guys can show support there as well as helping reach the gift goal. While it's not needed, I do appreciate it. And if you can all sub to me on the tube,
Ah,
currently streaming over there. It's Dougielifts. The link is also in the bio. And hello to everybody who's watching me on the tube. Hope you're enjoying live. Go ahead. Oh, and he left.
he left.
All right. Well, I think we have
I
another
just
guest.
wanna
We are looking for opposition. If you disagree, hit the request button. We'll bring you on up. Go ahead,
I
Erica.
I just want to point out to somebody in the comments said, so why do they hate Britain then? I just want to tell you that a think tank called Theos, which specifically studies like religiosity, that word that Anthony used earlier that guy didn't know, specifically studied religiosity in the UK. And they were looking at different religions and how British they feel. And guess which religion felt the most British and identified most with British values? Anybody want to guess?
I can assume. I don't want to be wrong though.
You can assume
Would it be Islam?
it was Islam. British Muslims feel more British than Christians do, or than Hindus do, or than Sikhs do, or Jewish people, or they were the religion that identified the most with British values. So
Well, there you have it.
It's white replacement. Jesus.
It's weird because
Why are this just
the guy came in saying he wasn't all that, like, insinuating he wasn't all that bad, he wasn't all that far right leaning, and then by the end of it, he was perpetuating that exact rhetoric.
yeah.
That's why I don't necessarily believe them when they say, "Hey, I'm like center, I'm just a little to the right." Like, once you start digging and you get into some of these topics, you find out they're a bit further right than they initially claim.
And in today's day and age,
Yeah.
center is pretty damn far right at this point.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Well, I just want to point out to you his screen name, if you translate it from German into English, sorry, not British, into English, was attention grabbing. So I'm wondering. I'm wondering whether he's a POS who actually believes what he says, or whether he's a POS who goes on the internet looking for attention by being edgy.
Right.
Look at this comment. If you don't stop the left-right shit, we will never grow in a better direction. What do you propose we do? Is it pop? Like, what is your solution? Right, just go straight to, like,
right up the middle with a fence post up our butts.
I was swiping through my FYP earlier. Did you guys see the video of Candace Owens speaking about Erica Kirk? Well, I don't normally watch her. I don't. However, she was speaking on Erica Kirk, and
she's trying to stir that beef up again.
Oh gosh, you should listen to it. It's like, I'm telling you, I never listened to Candace Owens. This was about 15 minutes long. It is worth every single minute, I promise. I'm sure somebody in the comments saw it, but it started off with "Dear Erica," and it just went on to it insinuated a lot of pretty crazy things.
Well,
take a listen.
Can I tell you something? So there's a British creator on here. I think his screen name's something like Lazy Lewis, and he's a British political creator. And he's been looking at the e-files, but specifically for things that involve this country. And it turns out in the e-files that have been released, there are text messages between Steve Bannon and JE talking about overthrowing one of our governments, like getting one of our prime ministers out. And Steve Bannon credits himself with Theresa May's downfall as Prime Minister and the installation of Boris Johnson. So isn't it I said this, I was talking to Matt about this yesterday. What's really interesting is when do you remember back in the day when QAnon was a thing? And now it's just, mainstream amongst the right.
Yeah.
And they were all talking about, the deep state and the shady, la, 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 la. And we were all like, yeah, that's, I hate to break this to you, but, rich, powerful people have been doing shitty things for the entirety of human history. This isn't new. And but they were alleging it was all coming from the left. It turns out much of it was coming from Steve Bannon, which is interesting.
Guys, we can all. Am I going to get flagged by playing this? Is it safer to just do the audio? Somebody who normally does
probably safer to just do the audio. We don't need to see her face.
I guess let me put it off screen then.
There you go.
Let me do that.
That's good. We can't see.
All right, I'll just do the audio. All right, let me go ahead and play it, guys. I'm telling you, it is worth every single second of it. Give me just one moment here. I gotta adjust some of the settings. Oh gosh, I think people on YouTube YouTube has been hearing an echo this whole time. I had something unmuted that shouldn't have been. All right, let's see. Can you all hear? Yeah.
It's making a
Yeah,
weird popping sound.
it's making a. You might want to turn it down slightly.
Yeah, it's like peaking or something.
How about now? Better.
Can't hear it at all now.
Can't hear it at all now.
Let me get it. Let me do it on my phone, and because I have my phone here, I'll play it from my phone and just obviously have the phone on screen. Give me 1 second here.
Speaking of, I don't know whether anybody saw the and I can't remember the creator's name, but she's a fantastically attractive blonde woman talking about how Kristi Noem is a two-bit hoe. Did anyone see that video? It's the best video I think I've ever seen. She was ruthless.
No, I
You mean
haven't.
the bird-legged hoe song?
No, she was talking about how she'd installed her side piece into the. It was very funny. I can't remember the name.
Okay,
of the
I got
person.
it
If
here,
anyone
guys.
in the comments knows that.
I got it. All right, so
I thought it best to do this publicly. I think public conversations.
and remember, guys, if you are opposition, you can come on out. We're just doing this in the meantime.
That certainly need to be clarified because sometimes the gap between the truth and the lie is what happens behind closed doors. You and Charlie began dating in earnest in 2019, and in retrospect, it was accompanied by a season of a lot of change. For one, I was getting married and virtually, therefore, joined at the hip with my fiance. He was sort of a new third wheel at all of our events. A few months later, on May 1st, the public was informed that I was resigning from my position as the communications director of Turning Point USA. Now, there has been a lot of public speculation as to what led to that decision. The media ran with it was anti-Semitism or some disagreement about Kanye West, but that wasn't true. None of that was true. The truth, and I think that you very well know what the truth is, because you were around for it, is that Charlie and I had a disagreement which fractured my trust in him. He did something that he had never done before. He lied to my face about money. Now, in retrospect, I believe that the manner in which I discovered the lie might have been by design, but there's no need for us to delve into conspiracy when the facts are plenty enough. Charlie had taken a meeting down in Florida with Ike Perlmeyer at Mar-a-Lago. It was a fundraising meeting. For whatever reason, he did not want me to know about this meeting, and that was strange. It was meant to be kept a secret. Strange because we had always collaborated on and taken those sorts of meetings together. Anyway, I found out about it, and I decided to ask him casually as we were writing.
It gets a lot more juicy, guys. I promise this is just the beginning. It gets a lot more juicy. A lot of very, very heavy insinuations.
An elevator at the Trump Hotel in D.C. I said to him, have you heard from Ike recently? And he looked me right in the face, just as he was getting off on his floor. And he said, no, I haven't. I haven't heard from him in like 2 weeks. And I then said back to him, really, Charlie, because you had lunch with him yesterday at Mar-a-Lago. And I saw his stomach drop. His entire face looked, as if he was going down a roller coaster. He stuck his arm back in the elevator really quickly and tried to explain it away. He then pivoted toward an apology, but obviously the damage was done. And if I'm being honest, I was as hurt as I was shocked and confused by it because we were close. We did go back down to the lobby. We sat at a table and we talked. I don't even remember whether or not I was angry. I probably was. That does tend to be my choice emotion. But deep down, there was a part of me that knew that it was coming because of a lot of the new hires that were coming into Turning Point USA post Kanye tweet. Charlie had new people in his ear that were hijacking his ambition, making him believe that money was the truest measure of success. Charlie was a brilliant fundraiser, everybody knows that, but he was also young. He was naive to what the wrong money could invite into his life, and I warned him. I warned him in that restaurant. I warned him specifically about Stacey Sheridan. Everything about her made my skin crawl. I suspected she and Tyler had something to do with it. I also warned him about Schaefer Security and Dan Flood. You can check the text messages because you have them. And now I am left wondering, obviously, if Charlie had heeded my advice, if he would still be alive. I've also come to another realization that I missed at that time. Maybe the newest and the biggest influence in his ear. Who was that, obviously? It was you. You were the newest and biggest.
You being Erica Kirk.
Influence in Charlie's life. You kind of all arrived at the same time. And you too, Erica, you lied to my face as we sat down in that hotel and we spoke for 4 hours. But I want to be clear, it was different. You see, with Charlie, I could forgive him. We were always like brother and sister. We went on tours thereafter. But you didn't do it when you lied. You didn't do it out of naivety. You didn't do it because you were young and being pulled into the wrong direction by bad faith actors. Andrew Colvett was never going rogue. You knew that. Every single evil thing that was done to me was done with your blessing. And I consider the onslaught of attacks that I had to endure, they were evil. Because you knew I was telling the truth, and you authorized people with an incredible amount of money to attack one of the few people in politics who was actually grieving your husband. You knew we had a deep friendship. You knew I was telling the truth about the Catholic thing, about everything. You allowed these people to lie and to say that Charlie and I hadn't spoken since 2019. I mean, it's crazy how much of a lie that was. You authorized it, and I now know that. The question is why? It was so cruel. It was so mean, right? Why impart that on someone who you know, within a sea of snakes, actually cared about Charlie and didn't want anything out of the organization? Maybe it's because I was like a loose end, one person that wasn't controlled by an organization, just kind of proven that I'd rather lose everything to say something that I don't believe, least of all for money. I mean, maybe it's also because you have his phone. And when I revealed to the public that he had predicted his own death in remarkable detail, maybe you went back and you read the rest of those messages, the ones that I haven't yet revealed to the public, because in retrospect, those messages they're pretty terrifying because they're precise and it feels prophetic. Charlie was gifted, you know that, I know that, and the government most certainly knew that as well since he was a kid, which is why it was at least very interesting to me that you told the New York Times, something that most people didn't pay attention to, but you told the New York Times the night before his murder, Charlie's, and I'm going to quote this, you said that Charlie's adrenal glands were just going off.
This part gets a little weird. It gets into a little odd detail stuff. Just you'll hear it.
I know enough about Charlie to know what that means. That means that Charlie was being bothered. He was probably having visions like he was in 2018. Probably a clearer vision than the one that I had that you guys tried to mock. That danger was coming. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it wasn't about a Jezebel article written by some leftist. Please stop saying that because it's not true.
Yeah, she starts talking about visions and all this stuff. Candace Owens, guys.
To pray over him. He thought someone was going to kill him. He did express that in writing, and you did not lose those text messages. You knew that.
And once again, if you disagree with the background prompt, you voted for Trump, you are a conservative, Republican, etc., there's a request button at the bottom of the screen. It looks like that pink and blue person. Click it. We're just listening to this in the meantime. It's a letter, I guess, that Candace Owens is writing to Erica Kirk, and it gets very, very juicy.
Charlie and I...
Yeah, what do you got, Erica?
Spoke a lot.
I just wondered whether everyone on the right... I just wondered whether everyone on the right has visions and prophetic dreams about what's going to happen in the future, or whether Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk are just especially gifted in that area.
That's exactly what she says, almost word for word. That's funny that you said that. She's almost going to say that word for word.
About his third eye. That's why that sentence caught my attention in the article. He spoke about the street lamps that would go off when he would run, about the special school that he had to go to. We spoke about a lot of the things that were strange in our childhood, the testing that both of us had to endure. We spoke about the fact that we could both astral project. You know all of this.
Astral project.
And how surprised we were when we learned that not everybody does that naturally. sleep paralysis, you name it. We had conversations about it. And if Charlie's adrenal glands were going off,
Isn't it adrenal glands?
It is, yeah, but she can't say words.
I
She
just want to
says,
make she's mispronouncing it. Nobody pronounces it adrenal glands, right? Glands, right?
well, not that I know of, but she
Okay.
she doesn't have a good grasp of words in the way that people should say them.
Well, let's try to skip past that part and listen to the context of what she's saying. Keep tapping and sharing, everybody. Hope you're enjoying live. Make sure you send in your heart. Maybe follow Erica, follow Lainey if you can. Show a little bit of support. My link, pay links are in the bio. To everybody on the tube, hello, how are ya? Make sure you guys sub to me over there. It's Dougielifts, Dougielifts. The link is in the bio.
Probably maybe for the very same reason that I pulled my kids out of school days before he was murdered, because I sensed danger was coming. And since we are being open, I also want you to know that it struck me as odd when you said in that interview with Jesse Waters that you wanted Charlie to have a good night's sleep. He was so excited. So you sent him to sleep in his daughter's room. It just registered to me as a little bit backwards. I wanted my husband to have a good night's sleep because of something he had the next day. I'd probably let him sleep in the room, and I would sleep in my daughter's room.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
Like that. I also thought what was interesting is that you said the next morning when he snuck in, he grabbed his wedding band. Again, minor detail, but I asked myself, why was his wedding band off? But enough of speculation. Here are the facts. I now have verifiable proof in writing that Justin Strife and you lied to me. You know exactly who Pierre is. Why did Justin Strife say that he had never heard of Pierre? It's crazy. Justin, why would you do that? Justin, you know him. You've met with him. You've personally met with Pierre. Erica, you've met with him in the wake of Charlie's death. I have, again, verifiable.
Now, I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist really at all. However, she does give a lot of information that it does cause me to think a little bit. I will say that. Again, I am not a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, what's up?
I'm really here for the right on right violence, though.
Oh yeah, no, it's good.
On.
Yeah, it's really good.
Proof. So you can call your lawyers. You can spend another $1 billion on PR if you want to. Tell your lawyer to call my lawyer. I mean, you guys certainly have the money to do all of these things. It's not going to wipe away the truth. Okay. The truth is that there was a deal on the table with Pierre, who, yes, is from France, born in France. And that deal was worth billions. Not millions, billions, plural, billions of dollars. Just after Charlie was shot, and again, I have proof, Pierre had a phone call with Justin Strife. He also had a phone call with Mr. Don Orico of Turning Point USA down in Tampa. And you know what's really odd? Somehow this French man, Pierre, he knew that Charlie was dead before the rest of the world did. How did he know that? How did he know before I knew? Especially because he wasn't yet a donor to Turning Point USA. Why was he given so much priority?
I would say that's odd.
I'm interested. I know that after Charlie died, that deal went through. Yeah.
Which is also very weird.
If I'm lying, this would
that the deal went through after.
The category of defamation. So
did you guys hear that? If I'm lying, this would fall in the category of defamation. Which is again, I don't like Candace Owens, as you guys know.
She's basically hang on. If people can't read between the lines there, she's basically saying, sue me if this isn't true. Yeah. You can sue me and it would be proved that this was false.
Yeah.
If you try to sue me, all of this information is going to come out. Is basically what she's saying.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I wasn't expecting to side with her. When this first came up on my FYP, I continue to listen, and it's just
this might be the reason that the White House never got back to me regarding the French Foreign Legion being involved with Charlie's assassination. Because I don't know, there could be a French angle here. Could this be a motive? Could billions of dollars be a motive? I mean, I'll just ask some immediate questions. My question would be, why would a devout Catholic Frenchman be looking to give billions of dollars to an evangelical organization. Is that not weird? Just objectively weird? Gosh, that's a pretty big investment. Just really care about free market capitalism? What's France got to do with college campuses in America, full stop? The answer, Erica, is nothing. Nothing. And one of the things that when I was a kid, and other GATE kids, as we've been speaking about the GATE program, when they put you in these special classes, they test you frequencies, sounds, they made us drink fluoride, all the weird stuff. But one of the things that they're especially interested in is how quickly you can put together puzzles. And I want you to know that I excelled at that. I was really good at putting together puzzles.
Yeah, okay.
And I tell you, I think the picture is starting to emerge here. I think I was right. My best guess is that it was Pierre Falcone all along. Of Angola Gate, we talked about it on the show. France, Israel, the United.
You just kind of have to skip through her little weird stuff that she says. She's odd. You just have to kind of skip past that to listen to the context of what she's saying. I know
She really hates France, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I was just about to say that,
Yeah.
Lainey.
Yeah.
Isn't she being sued by
Brigitte Macron, yes.
Yeah, by Brigitte
Yes.
Macron, yeah.
She's obsessed with Brigitte Macron being a trans woman. And like she's actually her brother, but her brother still exists. So I don't know how she thinks that happens. Like her brother cloned himself somehow, maybe into a lady version. I don't know.
That's odd. And guys, just to let you know, there's 5 minutes left, so it's not too much longer. Just 5 more minutes.
States. This time it would be Egypt rather than Angola, all working together. Maybe they were getting the band back together to traffic because, there's been a lot of trafficking that just keeps coming up in this investigation. These countries, these satellite of countries, you trying to pretend with your what now, billions of dollars, got a PR, we can do all of this. And it was so crazy. Oh my God. A little joke about the Egyptian planes. What? Nothing to see here. This is my theory. There's a lot to see here. Because you were lying to cover Bibi Netanyahu's tracks. That's very strange.
This gets very interesting.
You were there when Bibi Netanyahu called. Andrew told me that Bibi offered to take Turning Point USA to the next level and that Charlie turned him down.
That's interesting.
In the Hamptons at the dinner that you were a part of, but you don't remember that part. You say he's just calling about a letter that Charlie wrote 5 months earlier. The dinner that you thereafter allowed an army of influencers to claim never actually happened, but you were there. Oh, I was there every step of the way. None of this ever happened. Nobody wanted to address BB calling. Nobody made any statements about that. Full-blown psyop, psychological operation. Truly, everything that you guys did, not only was it cruel, but I think the real motivation was you just thought you could psychologically break me. That's what this whole thing has been. It's been one big psyop. Very well funded because there's a lot of money on the line. If nothing happened in the Hamptons that was out of the usual, why the panic? Because something did happen. Charlie told Bibi Netanyahu no. Bibi, also, Charlie had declined to have Bibi on his podcast. When Bibi went on a little PR tour, Charlie didn't want to have him on the podcast, according to Andrew. So Charlie seems pretty done with Israel, right? You don't want to have on the prime minister of Israel? But the obvious question here at the media is not interested in, but I certainly am, is in exchange for what, right? In exchange for what was Bibi Netanyahu going to take Turning Point USA to the next level? In exchange for what? And also, how was he planning to get that money into the company? Turning Point was already worth $100 million. Building $100 million annually. What does the next level mean? It sounds like it would have to be billions. Via whom? My guess is Pierre. Erica. I think that there's a reason Pierre knew that Charlie was dead first. I think there's a reason he was a priority. How? Why? I think France and Israel are involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I'm going to put that out there with full confidence. I also now have very strong evidence which suggests that you lied about your whereabouts on the morning of September 10th. Little details have been edited. You said that you were accompanying your mother as she was receiving a treatment. Like I said, I now have something which strongly disputes that narrative. So I'll ask you this question on behalf of the world. What the hell happened on September 10th? Why are you guys struggling to get your story straight? Why did you tell Jesse Waters this?
And you wanted to see Charlie immediately and came up. Take us through that.
We landed in Utah, went straight to the hospital. Straight to the hospital? Andrew told me that when he deplaned, you guys embraced on the tarmac and he boohoo cried in your arms because he has so much pent up anxiety. So just given the planes, which you confirmed to me which plane he was on and which plane you were on, that would mean that you had to wait for Andrew to land for an hour. Waited for an hour. Don't do the thing where you tell me that Andrew went rogue. Don't do that, Erica. You're lying. You would be lying. Question is why? Why did you wait? And how long did you wait? And who was on the Egyptian planes? Who took off the Delaware? Who stayed behind to communicate on that second plane that was transponding for no reason? I think you know what I know, which is that I'm going to find out. This is not going to be a never-ending mystery. This is not going to be the JFK story. I'm going to figure out exactly what happened, and I'm getting very close, against all odds, against billions. You might have the billions, but I have the truth. So, that's what I wanted to say to you.
Are you going to sleep?
So
I like the infighting. I like the yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
can I just summarize for everybody? The upshot of all of that is that Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens both had prophetic visions of the future.
Yes.
Yes. That the French Foreign Legion and Egypt and Angola, for some reason, were all in some way engaged in the unaliving of Charlie Kirk.
Well,
plus
she
some French.
well, no,
Plus
she
some French guy.
She insinuated Bibi Netanyahu and somehow with him and that French guy, I forget what the name was behind it. Given that that guy wanted to invest billions into it, and that Charlie didn't want anything to do with Israel Seems anymore because he didn't want him on the podcast, or he didn't want him to invest in Turning Point. That's what it seems like the insinuation is.
And that Erica Kirk was somehow also involved in it,
right?
Because she was lying about. I mean, I'm
going to be and given her reaction afterwards, I mean, it seems performative. Again, guys, none of this is anything factual. These are all the speculations. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. You guys know that. We're just talking about just our opinions. That's it.
I know everybody grieves in different ways. Having recently had a bereavement myself, I know everybody grieves in different ways. I've never met anyone who grieves by having their butt grabbed by another man in front of a huge audience before, but everybody does it differently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see what comes from this. Probably a whole lot of nothing, really, but it seems like Candace is getting people from the right and left to at least hate on Erica Kirk. Yeah, and I don't really think she's grieving. I agree with you. So
I have a question. Do you think JD Vance grabbed her like that because she's Erica Kirk and he likes her? Or do you think he grabbed her like that because she was wearing leather trousers and he thought she was a couch?
I'd say 50-50. Could be a little bit of both, right?
I wish my soundboard was plugged in so I could have done the
Yeah, it would
Hey,
have been good. That would have been really good. Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, that was the first and only time I've ever listened to Candace Owens for 15 minutes. I think the most I've ever listened to her might have been 20, 30 seconds tops. So
Candace Owens is one of those people that everything I know about her is against my will, you
yeah. Oh
know?
yeah. Yeah.
total same.
And you know what I really dislike now? Obviously, I have the same first name as Erica Kirk. I, however, have had it for 10 years longer than her. But now it's happened a couple of times where ops have said my name and then have slipped in Kirk at the end of it. What do they think I'm gonna do with that? Like,
Yeah. I don't know.
no,
Yeah. I don't know.
no, I'm not her. Do you think? I don't know.
Candace has a bad habit of defending men. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of awful, awful, awful things about Candace Owens for sure. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Um, it's one of those things where a clock is right twice a broken clock is right twice a day. She's probably said one or two things like out of all the time that I've been aware of her or I've agreed.
That whole Midnight's Children detour was crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she was saying that the gifted and talented program made you drink fluoride. They didn't do that when I was in GT.
No, I was talking to my mum about this the other day because I know this, well, it doesn't happen in schools here anymore. But when I was a kid, I did this whole program, and it was supposed to be like a gifted and talented thing where they were picking out kids that they thought had very high IQs,
Hmm.
and they were making us do really weird shit, like write things with our toes and like just
What the fuck?
We didn't
ridiculous
do.
stuff.
We
Write things
just
with your
we
toes.
like
Jesus.
we like had like building projects and yeah, puzzles and stuff like that. Like, it was like IQ test type stuff, like logic puzzles and things like that. Um, it was just where they put all the autistic kids. Essentially, before we had autism diagnoses,
Yeah, yeah.
like when everybody thought that autism equaled Rain Man.
Well,
Right, man.
I did think that. I did think, did they think I was autistic? But they definitely didn't, because this was in the 1980s and I was a girl. So they didn't,
Yeah.
so there was no such thing as an autistic girl in the
Oh
1980s, as
yeah,
we
yeah,
know.
yeah. That wasn't
You
even a
know,
thing.
Well,
they
no,
didn't exist.
it was like the kids that were like getting bored in the regular classes. I think so. Like kids with ADHD, like ended up in there too. So it wasn't that they assumed they had ADHD. There was just like, we got to get this kid out of here so we can teach the the asleep kids.
Yeah.
Because they're derailing conversations because they're getting bored.
I would,
Like kind of thing.
I would take, I would take that group of kids every day of the week
Oh, they're a
over the
hell of a lot
asleep
more fun.
kids. Yeah. I honestly sometimes, like, I love my job, but sometimes it is like pulling teeth.
Oh, I bet it is. I bet
And
it is. Yeah.
like, I had a class this afternoon. I can never get through a whole lesson with them because they won't be quiet for long enough. And they just derail you with questions about things that are nothing to do with what you're actually doing. It's
Right.
crazy.
All right, guys. Once again, we are looking for opposition. I'm good to be live for a bit. I just have a client in 2 hours and 20 minutes, so I got like 2 hours left. So if a restart's needed, I certainly can restart. We got enough people in here. It seems like it's mostly friendlies. Although people seem to like what we were listening to. We saw a little bit of an uptick. People enjoyed that.
I'm gonna go for a bit. I need to go to my mum's and walk Buzz.
Yeah, you can drop me down as well.
All right, guys, you are just
But I
left
will
with
be
me.
back probably.
Okay, sounds good, Erica. Great seeing you, and Lainey, you as well.
All right, bye, y'all.
Cool, take care. Well, now I am unfortunately forced here to make conversation. I was able to rely on them for the past like hour or two. Demian, thank you so much for the 5 on the Blue Out with a V. W Demian in the comments. That's Demian. Why did we hear every fact about Luigi Maggione and daily updates, but basically nothing about Tyler Robinson? I agree, Demian. That is a little odd. I was thinking about that when I was listening to it, actually. When I was listening to what I had up. We that is true though. We haven't heard really any details about Tyler Robinson. Very 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 few at least, right? Some basic stuff. That's about it. But you heard every detail when it came to Luigi, right? Is a good point. There are some odd. I will say there are some odd things surrounding it. Again, I'm not going to go as far as to say this or that happened or whatever the case is. I don't know. It's just there are some odd things associated with it for sure. If you voted for Trump, if you disagree with the background that I got up there, please hit the request button at the bottom of the screen. Everyone else, if you keep tapping and sharing, make sure you guys send your heart me. Follow the follow live if you're enjoying it. It's the red button on the top left. And let's try to get the likes on up, guys. Let's see if we can get past 50,000, okay? And again, if I need to restart, I could restart in a bit. Usually that helps bring people back in. I'm slowly getting a little bit more views on the tube, though, which is nice. More overall views, like the concurrent viewers are low, but I assume that's going to be low for a while. But like the overall views are ever so slightly going up, which is nice to see. I knew it was going to take a while to build it. Like, I mean, when I first started doing these lives on TikTok, number one, I started doing them for fun. I had no intentions on doing any of this stuff at all. I didn't even think I would want to do this. I literally just did it just because I thought it was interesting to put up a background and talk with people that I disagree with. I just found it entertaining and interesting, educational. So it took a good bit to get any bit of like consistent following. So I assume it's, it would likely be the same on the tube. What's up, Angie? Look, Erica's back quickly.
Well, no. It's because you were talking about why do we know everything about Luigi Mangione and nothing about Tyler, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
I also want to point out to you, we don't know anything additional about the guy on the roof that tried to pew Trump. And we don't know anything additional about the guy by Mar-a-Lago who tried to pew Trump while he was on the golf course.
The golf course, yeah. Yeah. And that was very little was known about that one. Like that just sort of got passed by in the media. That second one they were referring to.
Yeah, we don't know anything about any of those people, but we know everything about Luigi Mangione. And that to me, sorry, I'm just changing into dog walking gear while I'm talking to you.
And let's keep in mind, Luigi was when Biden was president. The Trump pew was when both of them were when Biden was president. So we can't have the excuse necessarily of it being one side trying to get, you know what I mean? But no, it's very interesting.
Anyway, I just thought I'd point that out, that we don't know anything about because it's very difficult when we're having a discussion with Trump. We don't know what Tyler Robinson's political position was.
Not really. Yeah, there's speculation, but that's all we got.
And we don't know anything about what his motivation was to do what he did. Yet Luigi Mangione, we know everything about everything. So I don't get it. I'm not saying what it is.
No, I get it. It's fishy. Something fishy. Yes. Whatever that might be. Who knows?
Something's rotten in the state of Denmark. That's all I'm saying. And it's not Greenland. Anyway, I'm going. Bye.
All right. Bye, Erica. Yeah, no, that is very, very true. And when it comes to the unaliving of CK, you would expect, considering this administration is in charge, that we would know. And they would say more information, right? Like if they knew absolutely for a fact that he was somewhat on the left, far on the left, whatever the case might be, they would be saying that, Trump would be tweeting about that 24/7. They would be making much more of a thing about it. But considering like it was a big thing for like, several days to a few weeks, and then it sort of just petered out from there. It's odd. It is odd. Well, there's really not a whole lot of evidence either way, Terminal. I would never go out of my way to say that he was specifically on the right, and I wouldn't say that he's specifically on the left. There's just not a whole lot of information. And as you know, Terminal, Trump would be more than happy to provide that information if it were abundantly true he were on the left. There isn't a lot of evidence. You can come up and try to provide that evidence. If you're privy to evidence that even the Trump administration isn't, then yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how you know about more information than the Trump administration does. If the evidence you're going to point to is what was on the I don't know if I can say it on TikTok, but the things that you pew out, that doesn't really help your case. Like, having a few markings on it doesn't really dictate if someone's a leftist or on the right. And if anything, you guys point to it saying Antifa or something like that, or something indicating Antifa. I forgot what it was, but that doesn't really help your case. So you're insinuating that people on the right are fascist. But you're welcome to come on up, man. I'm going to go ahead and invite you one more time. But you are going to be muted until you come on up. Okay? I'm not going to mute you the entire live. I'm going to mute you for 5 minutes. That way you can think about what you said. You can sit in the corner and think about it. You can come on up. Okay? That is the only way your voice is going to be heard. That is the only way you're going to be the center of attention. Okay? You got your 20 seconds of fame right there. All right? You can have more seconds of fame if you come on up. But we're not going to give you what you want, you being in the comments. Hey, fascist catch, yeah. Right. Yeah, that's what it was. But like, again, that's just insinuating people on the right are if he brings that up as a talking point. I wonder if my other flag has come yet. I ordered another flag. Let me see where it's at. One sec. I know you guys can't see much of that flag. I'm going to move it further back once I get the command strips. Because right now I just have attack in the wall and I only had 2. Alright, well the other one's not even out for delivery yet, but I'll put that on the wall behind me and I'll get this one and pull it further back. Well, it's seen as backwards, I know. I mean, I could flip it the other way. And I could do that right now, I suppose. Here. In fact, you guys can probably see it. Well, and that's the thing. I don't have it fully stretched out because I just happen to have 2 tacks. But once I get to command strips, I can fully tighten it and stretch it out. That way it could be read a bit better. But you guys can't even really see it now. It's actually seen less right now than it was the other way around, I think. Let me check. Yeah, you literally can see more of it when it's flipped. Which is fine. I don't care. It's fine. The whole point of it is, number one, I want to have like some actual personality to my room. This is the first time I've ever decorated a room that I can ever think of, maybe since college when I had a dorm room. Other than that, I've left every single one of my rooms just bare. I just never gave a shit enough to decorate it. So number one, I have personality. And number two, it's nice that when ops come on in, they just automatically they see colors and they're like, oh, I hate this guy because there's rainbow colors. And they'll just see stuff. It just catches people's attention a bit more. So this is my version of decorating, yes. Putting 2 flags on the wall. I'm telling you, it's a huge upgrade from what I've ever done in my life. It says anti-lies, anti-hate, anti-racism, anti-fascism, anti-Trump. Again, I'm going to stretch it out further. Kayak, hello. I just got to get the command strips in the mail. Once I get those, I'll be able to make it less wrinkly than it is right now. No decoration would drive you crazy. Yeah. All right, it's getting hot in here. Well, it looks like it's almost time for a restart. There is no Mrs. Dougie. I'm not married. A tapestry king? There seems to be one person who's really obsessed with me in the tube comment section. Joe Schmo. I don't know what's wrong with you, man. It's odd that you have really nothing better to do with your life than just to leave comments like that. But hey, it's helping getting more people into it, so keep doing it. I don't care. They're just spelling out a slur by doing each letter as a new comment. I don't care. I don't really give a shit to block them. YouTube doesn't seem to care about anything. If they want to be able to spend their day spelling out words with each comment as a new letter, by all means, go ahead. If that's what you need to do. Yeah, I'll restart. Guys, I'll restart. So give me a few minutes, though, after I do so, all right? It's not going to be an instant restart. Give me like 3 to 5 minutes or something. But I will see all of you guys in like 5-ish minutes, okay? So make sure you guys give me a follow if you don't already follow me. I assume most of you in here already do. And make sure you guys all subscribe to YouTube, okay? It's Dougielifts. The link is in the bio.